place. You talking the game, get you through the days. Great eye in the court, the dime in the lane. Variety, topics, living the same. All presentation, sports information. Hitting the airways, taking the nation. All sport, all plays, like working your faces. Grace at the field, so tie the laces. All sports, all plays.
And welcome everybody to the latest episode of Real Talk. I got my man, Coach Kenny on. We got Chris in the building. We got Dev. What's going on, fellas? How y'all feeling?
Good.
What's happening?
Love to hear it. Chris, how you doing over there, man?
Man, I'm doing good. Can't complain. Ready to talk some sports.
Absolutely. Well, sports is what we are here for. We do want to acknowledge, probably for the first time I've ever been on this show, a baseball topic. There is the home run derby going on right now. I don't know when the All-Star game is, if it was before this or if it's tomorrow.
I think it's tomorrow.
Tomorrow, Wednesday.
They're having their All-Star game on a Tuesday or Wednesday. What is going on? That sounds awful.
Matter of fact, I think it is tomorrow. Because it is tomorrow because the ESPYs is on Wednesday.
No, baseball just getting kicked all around the week.
Baseball just, they don't care where they put their All-Star weekend or All-Star game. They just put it on there.
They got their core fan base they always going to have.
Right.
That's always going to do them.
Yeah, but the population's evolving. That core fan base eventually will die out.
Mm-hmm.
You got to replace it with something, but I guess they got a while before that. And the thing is, baseball has some young, talented players. It's just not that exciting of a sport.
I think that's always going to be the challenge, though, because unless you're really into baseball, I don't know really what you can do to spark the interest because it's just a slow game.
You gotta watch it live. Trying to watch. I say the same thing with soccer. When you try to watch soccer or baseball on TV, you can never get the full experience. I said that about soccer. I went to a Philadelphia Union game out of all teams, and that's the only time. And mind you, I had season tickets to the Sixers. I went to Eagles game. That's the only time at a sporting event I lost my voice was at a soccer game. So you got a different energy. Yeah, the energy is different.
And it's more. I agree with you. I think it's more happening. Even at the live game because all you're seeing when you're watching it on TV is the pitcher and the catcher's interaction. But there's a lot of other moving parts that go along. So you kind of watch the guys get in position. You watch them, going around the horn after an out, and just see the interaction. So, and even the coaches, there's a lot more action that you can see when you're at the game as opposed to just watching on TV. So I get that point for sure.
Yeah, that's a great point. But speaking of, attention, Russell Westbrook is seizing the headlines here recent. We talked about it briefly about him and his agent splitting, and it was just kind of like, he's split from his agent, but since then his agent has come out with clarification, to say the least. And by all accounts, he's indicating Russ is not trying to be in LA. He advised basically that play out the season and go into the off season versus getting traded, because whoever trades for you is probably going to buy you out. And that's just not a good look legacy wise. Apparently they disagreed, so Russ and him, they split. But given what we've seen, and we'll get into some other stuff later, what does Russ and his agent split mean? Because obviously for trades, you probably want to work that through an agent. So if they're going to trade him, are they going to negotiate with him? What does this mean really for Russ in LA? I'll start with you, Dev.
It's always in LA. It's just confusion as always, man. I really don't know what to take with this splitting of his agent, and I think Russ' legacy is, I'm not gonna say it's already set, but I don't know, other than winning a championship with Russ, what more can he do? He is Mr. Triple Double already. I believe he's first ballot Hall of Fame. Just after his, his early part of his career, just pretty much got him in there. I don't think him getting traded or him being buyout is going to tarnish his legacy. I just think whatever what we got out of Westbrook is what we're going to get out of Westbrook now. I don't think we're going to see any eye-popping thing from Westbrook anymore now. I think he's at that age that he's almost at that Carmelo stage. Not saying that he's out the league, but he's almost where's a nice place to set for him anymore now. What's the offense that Russ can actually fit under anymore? I'm not saying that his career is over with, but once again, this is just another LA mess all over again, and it's just ugly. I don't know where it's going at for Russ now.
Kenny.
I think this is more so. I think this is much ado. This is much ado about nothing to me, because I think, like, when do you ever hear an agent come out and explain why, why they parted ways with a player? Like, this is I can't remember the last time I've ever seen something like this.
So with that, though, that doesn't tell you it should be probably more than much ado about nothing when an agent that nobody's really heard of because he's low key is coming out and speaking before trying to get ahead of a story.
I think it was more so for him because of that was his marquee client on his roster. I think he wanted to get out ahead of it and make sure the kind of save face on his end because he lost his most marquee client. Because I was looking at his client roster, the only other big I guess big ticket or big type of client that he has is SGA. Most of the guys that he have is kind of like low-key guys. Kyle Anderson is one of his guys. Luguentz Dort, who just got paid, is one of his guys. But there's no like real like stars. He was the only star on his roster. So to me, this seemed like more so him trying to get out in front of this to make sure that to keep his business going, to keep the prospects for him being able to get another big client going forward. That's what I think this was more so of. Because this happens all the time. It's rare that a player stays with one agent his entire career. Like that's those days of that. It's almost like when guys staying on one team for their entire career. It's almost kind of similar to that. Guys just don't stay with the same team, and guys don't stay with the same agents. There's moving around and moving parts when it comes to that. So that's why I think it's much to do about nothing because guys get rid of agents all the
time. Chris.
Yeah, I mean, I really didn't buy too much into this. We talk about Russell Westbrook's legacy. For me, his legacy, we knew what his legacy was going to be 7 years ago. Like him, this is his fourth team in the last 4 years, but that doesn't change anything to me because, Russ, he's a guy that's going to go 110%, 100 of the time. Whether it's good or bad, Russell Westbrook's going to go out there. He's going to play his brand of basketball. So I'm not, too upset about his legacy. And I know you mentioned, is he going to be, negotiating these trades for him? So I think that's going to happen. If the Lakers, want to move him, he's going to be at that table. He's going to say, listen, you're going to trade me. I just want to know where I'm going to go. And yes, if he goes to a team like the Pacers, they're going to buy him out. But that's fine. I would rather see that him get bought out than him choose where he wants to go play basketball. Like that's what I really want to see, because if he's going to get traded, unless he's going to the Nets, I really don't see a team that he's going to that he wants to be there or they're going to have any type, shot at the title. So I wouldn't mind seeing him get traded to a team. The Lakers get a whole bunch of pieces. He goes to a team, get bought out, that he gets to be a free agent and choose where he wants to play basketball. Yes, that's going to be a whole bunch of teams in a whole bunch of years. But when it comes to Russ, that doesn't bother me because I know what I'm going to get from him. There's some players that go to 1,000 teams and they're inconsistent. You know what you're going to get from Russ.
So I got a main question for you is, so what happened? One, I disagree. Let me address the first. You said his legacy was set 7 years ago. I completely disagree. I think if Russell Westbrook continues on the current path he's on, that first ballot Hall of Famer status and some other things are going to start to look real different. Yes, he had those historic seasons.
Hold on.
They are going
first ballot.
They are going to look different, and depending on when his class is, if people see, man, outside of those triple-double seasons, Russ wasn't. He didn't win much. Like, what did he really accomplish?
This is the first year he hasn't been in the playoffs in how many years?
A long time.
And how much of his career did he play with great talent?
But that's the point.
You can
But
say the
even
same
after
thing about a lot of
talent
great
left, they
players.
were still
Magic
making the-
played with 4 or 5 Hall of Famers
Right.
every
You
year.
don't gotta convince me about Magic. Let's not do
So-
that.
I'm just saying.
But you gotta
Yeah, I
think
don't-
though,
his
after
legacy-
KD
But
left,
You can't
Russ
compare
was-
him to
Russ was the
Magic.
only star in OKC, and he took OKC to the playoffs with that triple double.
I'm not comparing him to Magic, but you're saying how many years have you played with an All-Star or a great player in
But you're-
today's
but
NBA,
when
or
you
not
use
even
Magic's
NBA in
name,
general?
then you're
Everybody
comparing him
plays
to
with great
Magic.
players. No, I'm comparing that to your statement. You're saying how many years him playing with
Right.
great players. Every great player has played with other great players. Every
You're not
single
gonna win
champion,
unless you
from
play
Bill
And-
Russell
But
to
But
Magic
he
to
didn't
Bird.
win. So all those people you're talking about, they also won championships.
Okay.
He
Did
has.
they win it by themselves, or they
Charles
won with great
Barkley
players?
didn't win, but even with Charles Barkley didn't win a chip though.
AI didn't
And he
win a
played,
chip.
and he played with some great players.
AI didn't.
And
well,
the end
AI
of his
didn't- AI
career,
didn't
and the
play
end of
nobody.
his career ended badly. Like he ended, like he
And
was,
so, and at currently,
and he's still
a
a first
lot of
ballot
people
Hall
would
of
say
Famer. That's the
Russ
point.
is R. So I don't think Russ is as good at his job as Charles Barkley was at his job. That's just
But
me
but my
personally.
point is that
he's
the
gonna
way
be first
his
ballot.
career ended. His numbers dropped towards the end of
Significantly.
his career. Like those last couple of years in Houston, he didn't really put up really good numbers when he played with Pippen and Olajuwon. But he was still a first ballot Hall of Famer. That's my point.
Right.
didn't
My
affect
point
his-
is he's a better player, so that makes sense that he was the first ballot.
I don't know
So-
about
so
that.
you
because
think
if you
Russ
look
is
at
not
Russ's
gonna be a first ballot?
Yeah. Those are
If you
historic
rank
numbers.
Charles Barkley if you rank your top power forwards, you get to Charles Barkley a whole lot faster than ranking Russ against point guards.
But
But
it's a lot of great point guards.
But
Say
then
that-
I don't think that's fair.
Oh,
I don't think
but
that's
yeah, 'cause
fair.
of
You
all
know,
the great point guards that you name, I don't think you can name more than one that's done what Russ has done. It's only one. Out
And
of
what
all the great
aspect?
point guards that you name, that you
The
can
triple
name,
doubles?
you can only name one that's done what Russ has done in this league.
And there's still a bunch I would say are better than him. He did
Understood,
something.
but
He did
my
something
point
unique.
is that,
But
that
Hall of
all
Fame
those
still
guys-
comes down to the entirety of the player.
and if you talk about those names, a lot of them, Chris Paul, John Stockton.
Chris Paul didn't win that. Well, don't get me started on Chris
But I'm
Paul.
just saying, like they will all be in the same boat.
Ooh.
They be
Will
in
that.
the same boat.
And we
As-
talk about Chris
as
Paul
Russ.
like he a legend.
That's what I'm saying. Chris,
And so
John
Chris Paul,
Stockton, they
if Chris
all be
Paul
in the
first,
same
if
boat.
Chris Paul first
have-
ballot, then listen, he better be rolling out that red carpet for Russ. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, I'm not agreeing with that, and I've been very clear on how I feel about Chris Paul too. So I agree with you, but then that group is that group, and this no doubt Hall of Fame. I think if he plays another 2 to 3 years, and he's just bouncing from place to place because he could get bought out, and who do we see going to get him?
But Ray, if he
I gotta look
even
at teams.
even
I
on
know
a
a
bad
team will
year
go
this
get him.
past year, and no one would argue that this was a bad year for us. He averaged 18, 7, and 7 on a bad year. So, like, how far is his numbers going to go down? Because you figure he's got maybe two more years, 2 to 3 years.
I don't think
left.
his numbers will drop much because wherever he goes, he's going to be him.
So that's
get
my
his numbers.
point. So how is he not going to not? So how would that affect?
I
his
think the
legacy?
perception of him is different. Just like people's perception of Kevin Durant, I believe, is different. That matters to writers and voters,
But
I
they
don't
shouldn't
think
be.
that's gonna change
They
his Hall
shouldn't
of
be
Fame
voting on Hall of
status.
Fames anyway.
Yeah.
but they are.
He-
So,
but he's still gonna get first ballot just
Yeah, he's
because
solidified. to me.
because the triple double thing. Automatically, he's gonna be first
yeah, he's
ballot.
solidified to me.
Automatically,
Nine-time
he's gonna be
All-Star
first
too.
ballot.
Yeah, he's solidified.
I got his stuff right here. 9-time All-Star, 2-time scoring champ, 9-time All-NBA,
MVP.
MVP. He's first ballot.
MVP, which is
Gold
big.
How
medal.
many years? And was that
Gold,
3 years?
gold
Was
medal.
that 3 years of averaging a triple double?
4
Yeah,
years. 4.
4 years? Oh,
3
forget
years
about
straight.
it. Ain't no
4
way
years
he
straight.
got first
3
ballot.
years straight, and he averaged one with the Wizards. That's 4 years.
Ain't no way he ain't first
He
ballot.
averaged.
He had to fall in his head. He had to fall in
You say,
his
Ray?
head to not
You
be
say,
first
Ray?
ballot.
I didn't know he finished with
I
a
mean,
triple double for
seriously.
us.
Yep, he had 22, 11, and 11.
Yo,
Yeah, he
Chris
has to
is
fall on
funny,
his
yo.
head.
Them little side ones, Chris, boy. I swear, yo. You gonna say 3 years straight and then one with the Wizards.
Oh no, I wasn't even trying to throw a jab. I wasn't throwing.
It's what he do.
Yeah, all right.
Look,
Yeah, all
what he
right.
do.
Nah, I really wasn't, because with Houston, he was more of a scorer. And then, Washington, he became that distributor. At that time, Ray, I promise you. I like throwing jabs at your team, but this
Listen,
time,
I don't know, Ray. I
I
don't
ain't
know.
got listen,
I
I'm
ain't the
good.
one to instigate all the time, but it looks like that's what he was trying to do, man.
That's what Chris does, but I appreciate that. Keeps me on my toes. But speaking, y'all say this won't impact us. I disagree. I think like I said, the perception is going to just look different. I think Chris Paul is all these people's legacies are finally crystallizing, and I think we're starting to see through some of the other stuff. Like, I think people, the industry and entertainment don't view Doc away, but I think a lot of people look at Doc different than they did
sign me up
5 years ago.
Kenny, tell them how I feel about Doc.
So you can achieve. I think
Dr.
people
J or Doc Rivers.
Oh,
Doc
Rivers.
Rivers.
Come on, Dr. J's a legend. We not going.
I mean, even the way
Hey,
Phil
Kenny, where
Jackson,
you at, man? We ain't on hip hop.
I'm saying Dr. J, Doc, there's two Docs. I'm just making sure we're
man.
only one person will be revisiting their historic status.
Okay, I was just making sure you love making these questions. You're questioning people's legacy, so I was making sure we got the right one.
I stood on Dr. J when you was trying to say that Michael Cooper was better than him.
Don't lie on me.
You try to say Michael Cooper.
Oh, I was getting ready to say, who said that, man?
Yeah, don't lie on me to the public.
I was getting ready to say, Kenny, what is up with you, man?
You know better than that.
He ain't get that outlandish. It was close, but it wasn't that bad.
Slander me out here.
But in other on the court, off the court news, Russell's technical teammate, LeBron James, decided to pull up to the Drew League. Mm-hmm. First time in 11 years. Skip Bayless had some thoughts, but I want to get you guys' thoughts first. Was this a good look? Should other people have come? Did he stack his team? Just your overall takeaways from LeBron at Drew League. I'll start with you, Chris.
First of all, Skip tweet is the reason why I cannot watch that show. I'm so serious. I look at my phone. I have it right here.
Though? I didn't see it.
Love it that LeBron played in the Drew League today, but he shot 2 for 13 from the 3 with 12 question marks for no reason. He missed a late free throw that would have clinched it overtime. Some things never change. I mean, listen, it's pickup basketball, Skip Bayless. This is not the NBA Finals, Game 6 at home, a clinching game. I honestly think he writes LeBron a check every month to be able to use his name, image, and likeness. The way he talks about LeBron,
did he lie? Chris, did he lie anywhere?
But why is this a huge debate?
Because Drew League is a big stage. On that big
Drew
stage,
League is a pro-am. It's a pro-am.
So is it a big stage or not? Is it a big stage or not?
For LeBron?
Is it a big stage or not?
For LeBron?
Can you just answer the question? It don't matter who. Is it a big stage?
It's one of the best leagues in the summer.
Okay, that's all I'm saying. Drew League is well respected.
We're talking about a guy that is a top 4.
No, you're talking about that. I asked the question. You're talking about something different.
It's a respected league, but the way
we're not going to judge LeBron.
Y'all can't even let me finish the question before y'all keep trying to jump in.
What's the question?
The point was, it's a well-respected league. It was him and DeRozan on a team versus other guys. They're probably good, but they're guys.
Yeah.
The game was close down the stretch.
But that's every Drew League game, though.
Chris.
All right, go ahead.
Does every game have DeMar DeRozan and LeBron on one side and no NBA players on the other?
You'd be surprised how these teams.
No, they don't. Up. The answer is no.
How much do you watch the Drew League? Because I've been watching for years and seeing all these top players on one team versus people not in the NBA.
What names did I say?
You said DeMar. DeMar been playing in Drew League forever.
And what's the other name I said?
LeBron.
Okay, so don't talk to me about some other NBA player because they ain't LeBron. They're
That's
not.
but it's only for one game though. It ain't
So-
like they don't play. He ain't playing it no more.
Like, it's
So
not
my point is, if I could get through the question,
Go ahead.
Okay.
is he did go to the free throw line with the chance to push it from 2 to 3, and he missed it. That's something that you can criticize him for when he has a history of missing free throws late in games. That's not searching
And a
for
pro-am,
something
though?
negative.
Okay,
He
you're right.
He was 2 of 13. Like everybody's highlighting, everybody highlighted the 42 and 14 or 42 and 16. The game was close, and he was 2 of 13 from 3. Like, could Skip have given a more well-rounded review? Of course he could have. But let's not. But he's the only one talking about him missing a free throw and how poorly he shot. Everyone else would tell you that it was a blowout and LeBron was God. So I think that perspective is missing a lot of times in media, and Skip just has to be the one. But for me, that should have been more of a talking point, because that is problematic to me, that even at Drew League, you still blowing important free throws.
So LeBron put up to the Drew League for the fans and the people of LA, the city that he's playing in right now, to show his face, just to put hype around it. And instead of talking about him being in the community, for a team that people say he want to leave at the end of the year, him coming to the Drew League where he haven't been there in years, we talking about him shooting 3-pointers and free throws. I could care less. Look, he could have scored 5 points. And my takeaway would have been the same thing. LeBron at the Drew League, that's tough. Like the Drew League,
No.
like
No.
All right, I'm just all right. 20,
When you
20,
saw what Kobe did at Rucker,
20
when you saw what
20
KD
points.
did at Rucker, and LeBron would have came out and scored 5 or 10.
I mean,
can't
listen,
go.
but I know he's
We
not
We also
gonna do
seen
that.
what Kobe did in the Drew League.
Yeah, Kobe went crazy in the Drew League. But the point
Yeah,
I'm
he
trying to
was.
make is, LeBron gonna do his thing. But if I'm a fan,
That was also
LeBron's
a one-time
here.
thing too with Kobe.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I'm
LeBron-
great with all of that. I'm just
LeBron
saying,
did what he had to do. The fans were excited. They'd rather see a close game than a blowout.
I agree. And I'm
So
sure they would have
I mean-
loved the. Well, I mean, they got the W, so that's what's most
Him shooting 2 for 13 and missing free throws. Okay, I care more about that when it happens in the season. I care less about it in the summer.
Of course,
That's my takeaway.
Of course.
Are you wrong? No. I mean, he got to be a better free throw shooter and 3-point shooter. Do I care that he missed in the Drew League? I do not care. He did his job. He dropped 40. They won. Yeah, they won by 2, but a W is a W in my eyes. So
That it is.
you could win by a point, and the W is a W. So I see where you're coming from, Ray. Somebody has to play devil's advocate. It's you and it's Skip Bayless.
We'll own that. Yeah, your thoughts in there.
Oh man, I'm kind of with Chris, man. I'm not worrying about no 2 for 13 and all that. Like, right? If you got out there and you shot 2 for 13, will anybody even care? Will anybody care?
I wouldn't.
Now,
I don't deserve to be.
But
on
the
that
thing
court.
about it is nobody picked DeRozan apart. Nobody said anything how DeRozan game is or anything in that nature. And DeRozan has been playing in the Drew League all summer.
And nobody gave him a bunch of credit either. Nobody talked about him being in that game.
So my point exactly. So if nobody talked about this summer league before DeRozan got here and worried about stats, why are we worrying about it now just because LeBron got here?
Because he's LeBron. I feel like y'all are.
But the thing about it, so just because
Like,
LeBron got just because
if Kyrie would have showed up, which he was supposed to show up, had he showed up and played bad, given all the stuff he's going on, they would have been on him. If Russ would have got out there and did some Russ type stuff and shot it off the side of the backboard, they would have killed that man.
But is
So
it
there's-
that deep though? That's my
certain-
point.
I don't
There's
think
certain
so. Not
levels
no
of players.
pickup
My
game.
point. Taylor Horton Tucker played, I think, yesterday or the day before, and he put up 14. Nobody cared because it's THT.
Did you
But
see
the
the memes?
LeBron,
You see, they said how you go in the Drew League and still a role player. That was crazy. And I think THT is a hooper, but that was crazy.
and that's you would think he would perform well in that environment. His game,
I mean,
kind of that style of play.
you can say that, but those guys play
How
with
many-
pride. Like we're
How
not
many
talking about
minutes
just.
did he play though?
I mean,
THT.
I don't know, but we're not talking about plumbers that these guys are playing with.
No,
They're playing against
these
guys
is-
that
these legit
hoop
hoopers.
in college
yeah.
or they hoop overseas somewhere.
guys.
Overseas,
not gonna
right?
go out-
I'm gonna say
they're not
they
gonna
ain't
go
just
out
no
like-
regular Douglas
Right,
now.
yeah. This ain't the Washington Generals. These are supers. No, I don't want. Nah, for real. Like these guys ain't coming to
Hey
lay
Chris,
down.
you caught that whiff, right? You felt that jam, right?
I did.
That is right.
Nah. And like I said, I'm not the one to instigate Kenny, but why you had to pick the Washington Generals? Why you had to pick the Washington Generals?
It's okay.
Because they play to lose. These guys wasn't coming to lay down. That was my point. Y'all trying to pull something out of it.
It's okay. It's okay.
Man, we can read between the lines, man. It can't be three people that's reading the same thing, Kenny.
Man.
Man, my point was misunderstood. But go ahead.
But obviously, we've touched on two Lakers players and what their offseason has looked like. But we do got to get into now that for the most part, it seems like the Durant Kyrie thing's dead for a while. There's not a bunch of big free agents left, if any. We can kind of wrap up to a certain extent the offseason. So if you had to pick, who's your biggest offseason winner in the NBA? And we'll start with you, Chris.
I didn't want to go first.
All right, can you jump in there?
For me, it's the Boston Celtics.
You stole my pick.
I think that what they did is they addressed two weaknesses on their team in terms of getting another playmaker and getting Brogdon, and then getting another shooter or some scoring punch off the bench and bringing in Gallinari. So I think they're the biggest winners in terms of the offseason because, again, I think that between those two things, those are the two things that if we saw that in the finals, we might have saw a different outcome. So the fact that they addressed that immediately in this offseason, I think to me that makes them the winners.
Okay. Dev.
Man, y'all great probably throw stones at me a little bit, but just hear me out.
If you say
I'm not gonna say them. No.
Okay.
I'm not, you know.
All right, you good. My bad. Go ahead.
No, other than the Boston Celtics, I think the Sacramento Kings finally found the direction that they really want to go. You know what I mean?
It's not a bad pick.
You know, I'm not saying that they did the best, Chris. Calm down, man. That's why I said don't throw stones at me.
No, I'm not mad at it.
That's not
but it looks like they have a direction that they want to go.
Yes.
They trying to build around Fox and Sabonis. They added what's my man Malik Monk off the bench.
I like it.
They added the rookie, you know what I mean, and they had
learn that name.
Yeah. So I really think the Kings kind of won this offseason.
Okay. Chris, you ready? Or I can go.
I want to go last.
All right. So I'm actually going to go in a bit of a different direction. Shocker. I think Golden State has won this offseason. I thought they would have to do something, whether it be paying Jordan Poole, that would be a distraction. I thought that they was going to have to move Clay, Wiggins, or Draymond or somebody. They've got everybody that really mattered back. Moody looked great in the summer league. Wiseman looks like
except for Gary Payton. I would have really
thought. I was going to say though. I was going to ask. Do you think that their bench took a hit though? Or do you think those other guys are going to step up?
I think Kuminga, Wiseman, and Moody and those guys are just going to step up.
They're going to play this year.
I was just curious. That's why.
Right. I think Jordan Poole, he's now in that contract year, really. So as long as he stay all right and not get too messed up over the fact he got money coming, like I think they've gotten in a lot of cases better. And they signed I can't remember who they signed. They brought Looney back. Who's you saying?
Dante DiVincenzo, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah. So
That's
he's gonna fit that GP role. He's not as good of an offensive threat, but I think he'll be an athletic wing defender. Will kind of be his role, and they got him at a cheaper rate. So
I was gonna say, don't sleep on him offensively.
Oh no, he got shot. He's a better shooter than GP.
Yeah,
now he for a fact.
I think he's gonna space the floor a little better than GP. But
I see him.
I can see him spacing the floor.
He's not in GP's class defensively. I agree.
No. But just on piggyback on that, I see Moody playing more. Like I'm with Ray.
I can see
They
that.
didn't have to do much because their young guys are going to step up. I see Moody playing more. Kuminga, that's the defense, and I think Clay with a full offseason to get right again. We're going to see him not. I won't say be afraid, but being that perimeter defender that he was. So you don't got to worry about losing GP.
So that's where I think overall I like what Boston did, but I think as it stands, there's no reason for me not to pick Golden State going into next year. And I just knew they was going to have to lose somebody. I don't know what that luxury tax bill is going to be, but they said they're willing to pay it. So more power to them. It ain't my money.
Right.
All right, I'm ready now.
Let's go.
Now,
About to go shock the world.
I had 3 teams. The Celtics were on my list. They were. So the next team was the Clippers. I think the Clippers did their thing. For a while, we've been saying they did a playmaking point guard. They got a lot of scorers going on. We know the ball is always in Paul George, Kawhi's hand. So you bring in John Wall, and you're not asking. I love what he said. I don't have to be Batman every night. So I saw a quote saying, "You mean to tell me that the third best defender on the team has to guard John Wall after he's used for the first best defender to be on him? Good luck." I really think if that catch and shoot 3-pointer is at least a little bit better than average, that's huge for them if they're able to stay healthy. I love the fact that they got Batum back. They really brought back that squad and the trades they made last year, able to keep that core. And then the last team, I'm saying the Jazz. I'm saying the Jazz.
As a winner?
As a winner, because they needed to blow this team up for a while because they don't have no success in the playoffs. So look at what they got back for Rudy Gobert. All those picks they got back for Rudy Gobert. And if they're able to move Donovan Mitchell, in my opinion, I'm staying on the Knicks because, Kenny, your Knicks, they've been saying, Donovan Mitchell is that guy. If he's your guy, you got all those draft picks. Why need 5 minimum? So if you're able to come out and trade your 2 guys for all those picks after your team was in the first round, second round exit,
but I would do that. I would try to move more of those younger pieces as opposed to all of the draft picks.
I mean, yeah, obviously you want some more pieces, but if you're able to bring back, picks and talent and get rid of the team, blowing up that team, I think that's a W. And you can go ahead and start your rebuild because they weren't doing anything in the West, if we be honest.
That's fair. All right. So in the spirit of winners, gotta have some losers. So I'll start with you, Dev, on this one. Who's your biggest loser of this offseason?
I'm gonna go with Miami real quick. I don't think Miami didn't get that star that they desperately needed. And now they, putting Trace around Tyler Hero and the rest of that little cast that they got on the bench. Miami didn't budge at all, and they know they need a star right next to Jimmy to close out that game 7. And they would have been in the finals against the Warriors. But Miami didn't make no moves. They just signed Oliver Depot back. That's an okay move, but not the best move I think Miami should have did. I don't know if they're in the play-in.
Like that, to me,
and they lost PJ Tucker also, and I think they're going to lose one of the Morris twins also.
Keith want to come back home.
Yeah, so it's a possibility that Miami might be a little bit depleted this year. But Pat Riley always got something up his sleeve during mid-season also. So we'll see doing that. But as of right now, Miami just took an L for me in the offseason.
Okay. So I was leaning Miami, and just quick update: Albert Pujols just advanced in his home run derby against Kyle Schwarber, beat him by 1. So I know Mike Hughes was in here with that Schwarber nonsense. He just lost to Albert Pujols, who's like 47
all the time.
But no, hopefully they don't take no steroids for that, man. You know how baseball is, boy. They be like, hold on.
Come on, Dev.
Man, you know how baseball is, man. See the one you see what happened to Barry Bonds.
Still knocking them out there.
Yeah, they gonna be like, hold on, guy. We gonna need you to go in this cup real quick, my man. Hold on. But let's not go with. Let's hope Albert Pujols is clean, man.
Yeah, leave that man alone. Let him ride off into the sunset in peace. But speaking of that, so for me, I'm gonna go in a little different direction as well because I think Miami's a big, obvious answer. For me, a team that I thought was ready to take the next step and really just had, based on this offseason, I think they've been thwarted, is the Charlotte Hornets. And I think that Miles Bridges situation just really messed up their whole momentum going into this offseason. And I think they were a team that was building. They had a lot of young talent, and they might have just needed to get out of that Gordon Hayward deal. And I think they would be a lot more likely to try and do that if they knew they had Bridges coming back. But I think that situation, which was completely his fault, has really knocked them off kilter. And now I think they're definitely a lottery team. They might be a top 5 team. And I really hate that for Melo at this point in his career and some of the other young talent. But I saw a lot of other bad teams get better, and I think they got worse. Kenny, we'll go to you.
I'm actually going to disagree with Chris. I think the Utah Jazz are the biggest losers because they basically are going from a team that was a perennial playoff contender to being a lottery team. And they basically just blew it. It's a full rebuild now. So to me, you went from basically being a top 3, top 4 seed the last 2 to 3 years to now where you're just totally out of the playoffs and you're a lottery team and you're just rebuilding from scratch. So to me, that's a loss because we were always while we were never really thought that they were, never really believed in them per se as being a playoff contender or someone that's going to make a deep run. They were, to be fair, like they were a 2 seed, they were a 3 or 4 seed in these last 3 years. So like the fact that what they got out of it was basically the furthest they got was the second round exit. Like to me, and then you have going into this offseason, you're basically losing your 2 best players. You're basically about to lose your 2 best players. And you're trading them away. To me, that's a loss to me because that closes your window. As small as the crack or whatever the window the window of opportunity that they had to contend, it's now closed. So they're back at square one. So to me, between them and the San Antonio Spurs, like to me, I think those 2 teams are basically both teams are now in tank mode.
See, I thought that window closed when Golden State got healthy again. Like they weren't doing anything when Golden State, was out of it, and now that they're back, they're falling even worse down the thing. And I think this year if they'd have beat the Mavericks, maybe things would have been different. But you lose to a one-man wrecking crew, and he wasn't even there 2 games. So I never took this team serious in the playoffs for them blowing 3-1 leads in a bubble. It's just been a one-man show in the playoffs, and nobody else has been there with them. So in my opinion, you're not winning anything, and you got these high assets.
No, it's not that I don't. It's not that I don't disagree.
It's just that fall off from playoffs to
to me, right? That the point that you're going from being a perennial playoff team to now just becoming a lottery team, all in the matter of one offseason.
Yeah.
Like to me, that's a loss.
I think it's one of those things. If you do believe in Danny Ainge or not, because if you believe in Danny Ainge and what he's planning to do, I think they're a winner. But if you look at that Boston, what he did with all those picks,
I was just gonna say, man, like this is deja vu all over again.
If it doesn't produce, then I think you're a huge loser because picks are always risky. Like when you trade player for player, you know what you're getting. When you're going off draft picks that's a year or 2 down the road, like especially with this new NIL stuff, like there's a lot of different factors that kind of go into it. So I think it remains to be seen. I wouldn't say they're the biggest winner or loser. I'm indifferent right now, but I definitely think you could put them in either category depending on what you're going for. So I definitely understand that.
Ready
I think
for
the other thing on Ainge, though, is to be fair, is while he may have piled up all of those assets and didn't really do much with them in terms of a trade, he did draft Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown. So like the lottery picks that he did make, like he pretty much hit even Marcus Smart like that. he has been a productive player for them. So like those 3 lottery picks that he did make, he did pretty much hit on all 3 of them. So if that's the route that you're going to do in terms of stockpiling draft picks and putting that in Ainge's hands, then that's not a bad strategy.
And I will hope he learns from his mistakes. And when you have all these, picks and players, you actually try to package something together and bring in some more stars, especially in Utah. You're not really going to get any free agents in Utah.
And I was just great say that.
Yeah, you're not really going to get no free agents in Utah. That's why I was saying maybe you want to get some more picks. But I look at a guy like Jordan Clarkson at the deadline.
Absolutely.
A contending team is going to give up that bag for him.
They trying to trade him. They think about LA trying to get him out of Utah.
That would be a great pickup for them because they can definitely use that punch off the bench.
I don't see why the Lakers got rid of Clarkson in the beginning anyway.
Wow.
LeBron.
Look, that was before LeBron.
I was just talking.
Because he played on with the Cavs with LeBron.
I know. I was just talking trash.
All right, you ready for my list of losers, Ray?
Let's go.
All right. Since we brought them up, we might as well talk about them now. The Lakers. The Lakers need to hold that L. And this is just me being honest. Like, I don't want to go too deep in it because I know we're going to talk about them soon.
What were they gonna?
I mean, you don't bring in no shooting. Like, I understand.
Like what they had limited.
You could have found some shooters, or you could have put together something to bring in any type of shooter. If LeBron is one of the best shooters on your team, then something is wrong. And in my opinion, if you're going to fracture this relationship, which it looked from the outside looking in, we might be wrong, but this big 3, relationship might be fractured. Yeah. If it doesn't get repaired, and so they got to do more. When I look at, they just got to do more. And I expected them to bring in at least a couple of shooters. I understand you bringing some athleticism from the wing side, and
we ain't got no money.
But I know
that's why I said I don't know what.
Send us some money, man.
But you lose Malik Monk. I would take Malik Monk over Walker.
Definitely.
Malik Monk jumps just as high and shoots a 39% clip from the 3 ball.
But Malik Monk, when he went for that money in Sacramento, not being upset to him, you gotta chase your bag. But at the same time,
but if I'm the Lakers, I'm not saying you go all in, but I make some trades because you got a lot of guys on your roster, but they got a lot of quantity. They don't got a lot of quality. So that's how I feel about the Lakers roster. And I look at it. Next team, I'm everybody on ASAP. I'm talking about all your teams. Mike, I'm talking about your Bulls. Y'all ain't do nothing. Y'all ain't do nothing this all season that make me. I'll just be honest. You could say our all season was if Lonzo's healthy, but Lonzo's never healthy. So when I look at the Bulls and what they did this off season, we could talk about money. But listen, if you're a team that wants to win, you're going to make it happen. And right now, when I look at the Bulls, to me, when I look at everybody in the East, I don't think they got better. I think they just come back the same, hoping that if Lonzo is healthy, this team is better. But I don't know. And then last, I'm going to say the Suns.
Drummond was an already sign for them.
Oh, yeah, I mean,
and then, of course,
they got
Levine back, too. So,
yeah, and you got Goran Dragic. I like it. But it didn't move the needle for me. It didn't move the needle for me.
Okay.
That's I'm not saying I feel you. They could have did a little bit better, but
they did decent. They did decent, but I really expected more from them. And then the Suns, the Suns, I don't know what's going on with them this offseason. Like, this whole thing with DeAndre Ayton, and then you lose JaVale McGee. Not saying JaVale McGee's a super all-star, but you just losing players depth-wise. And I'm just curious on what's going on with Phoenix. Like, these teams I named are all teams we're looking at to be in the playoffs. But to me, none of them are moving the needle for me that's going to make me, pick them over some of these teams like the Celtics that we named, like the Clippers that we named, that had a really good offseason. There were teams that already were in playoff contention, so – it's one team that I was going to say, but I'm not going to do it. I don't think they're a loser.
Say it.
I was really, leaning towards, the Nets, but I can't call them a loser. I can't do it. I was close.
The agency?
I was close. To hear the crazy part? At the end of next year, they could be the biggest winner. If they bring everybody back and go on a run,
that's why I literally just said I can't say it. Like I was close for a while. I was calling them a loser.
But I'm saying like if you're just basing it off of what they lost and who they signed, you still wouldn't.
That's why I know they're not on
them.
my list. They're not on my like. I love what they did in free agency. I love what they did in free agency. I just, with this whole, are they going to trade? Are they not going to trade? It's kind of slowing like down. I thought, are they going to bring some more pieces?
So you like the signings that?
What I said, TJ Warren should be everybody's number one sign. I said that on here. I said the Lakers need to go after him. He signed a vet minimum. That's what I talk about, Dev. He signed a vet minimum. A vet.
I don't know. Definitely took TJ Warren. You know what I mean?
O'Neal too, right?
Yeah, Royce O'Neal. Like I think they did really. That's why they're not on my list.
In trade.
Yeah, they're not. The Knicks were almost on my list, but it's not their fault. It's not their fault.
But they didn't have a ton of money, but they still did more than the Lakers. So
who? The Nets?
The Knicks. I feel like they had enough. They got what they needed to do.
It got nothing to do with the players. It's just a lot of ISO ball.
Target. We signed our center, so finally we actually got a guy that we wanted. So we're not gonna downplay that.
You're not on the list. You're not on the list.
At the tampering, you finally got your guy at the tampering.
I know, right? They want to talk about us. They want to talk about us and PJ Tucker.
Right? That's right. Y'all get on the list too. Yeah,
they was whining and dining this dude when he was in the playoffs.
Y'all on the list too. Your man.
He knew in the second round.
Is that his name?
He knew in the second round that he was going to go to the Knicks.
The white party was out there recruiting.
We was lit. We was lit out that white party. For me, had all the Philly guys.
That's what I'm saying.
Listen, tamper. If you're not tamper, you're not winning.
You're not winning.
You're not winning. If you're not tampering, you're not trying. That's why we see these teams not getting the deals done because they're not tampering.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Tampering and live and in full effect at all these parties.
That's a big fact.
With all the tampering that went on, Chris, you mentioned the Lakers didn't really do much. So I got one question, and then I have a follow-up that I just came up with.
Okay.
As it stands, how far can this current iteration of the Lakers go? And I'll start with you, Dev.
Oh, we are playing right now. I'm just go ahead and say we are a play-in. It's a lot of the West is going to be packed. The West is going to be deep, even with these young teams. That's like I keep screaming, New Orleans. That team, you know what I mean, is a very scary young team. So and if we can't compete with New Orleans with that young squad, then we are automatically a play-in team. Because like you stated, Clippers got better. Golden State stayed the same. They still in that top.
So real quick though, like who we putting over the Lakers right now in the West?
I got it up right here. I could
go ahead, shoot me some names real quick, Chris.
These, in my opinion, the only ones that I have for sure: Memphis, Golden State, Dallas, Denver, Clippers, and I think that's 5 teams. And I didn't say the Timberwolves, who made their big trade. You talked about Pelicans.
I don't know what the heck they're gonna look like.
No, but these the other teams that are like in that area. You got the Timberwolves, Pelicans, the Blazers, the Suns.
Yeah, I still would put the Suns over them.
Absolutely.
I think I kind of almost want to put the Pelicans in there.
No, you want right there. No, because that's about 6 or 7 right there.
Yeah, so we most definitely right now with the roster how we stand, we are a play-in team. Keep it a buck. I really don't unless AD come out here and play like the best big man that everybody keep on trying to pat him on his back to say he can be, because he gonna have to average at least 30 this year. You know what I mean? He gonna have to play more than 60 games this year. For the Lakers to even have a chance to have a playoff run. LeBron gonna have to average in the 30s. He gonna have to put up what he put up last year. And if Russ stay with us, hopefully Donovan Ham got a system for him, man. Because like I said, Frank Vogel didn't have no answer for Russ last year. You just let Russ sit in the corner, knowing damn well Russ can't shoot. So hopefully you'll move Russ around a little bit, and have him in the ball. Hopefully with some pick and roll with AD. Maybe some pick and roll with LeBron, pick and pop with LeBron. Something to try to just the keep Russ moving and not just have him stand in the corner. So as of right now, we are playing team. I keep it a buck with him.
Chris, you had some strong thoughts last topic.
Yeah, I mean, listen, the roster, like I said, is piss poor. But at the end of the day, when you got LeBron and
Top
AD,
heavy.
like it's top heavy, you right. But when you got those two guys, like in a 7-game series, we talk about regular season, how you got other guys that's going to be playing a lot of minutes, but in the playoffs, I'm looking at those two guys, and there's not a lot of teams I'm going to put ahead of them. I won't say they're a championship favorite, but I'll say this: from 5, they could be anywhere from 5 to 8 because that's how I look at the West. I think there's a strong 4 teams, and from 5 to 8, even honestly 5 to 10 could be any man's game. So I think they could be anywhere from 5 to 10. It's all about matchups. But a healthy LeBron, a healthy AD, I think they're easily going to the second round. Anything other than that, I'm going to see more out of everybody else. Like I said, a healthy LeBron and AD, I think they can give a lot of teams a run for their money. But you got to understand, it's all about matchups. It's all about matchups. But regardless of that, I think they can get to the second round.
Okay. Kenny?
To me, that's best case scenario. Them getting to the second round. I think they're a tough first round out, as they are, presently constituted. I think that in order for them to advance to the second round, I think to Devin's point is you got to have 25 plus from LeBron and now you got to have 25 plus from AD at night, and you got to have Russ being a semi-efficient version of himself, whether that's 18, 8, and 8, at 44% shooting somewhere around there. So I think you got to have everything clicking. You got to get that punch off the bench. You got to get something from that bench, whether it's from THT or what's my man name, the lefty that didn't play at all last year.
Monk. Not Monk. None.
Kendrick Nunn. Like you got to get something from him. You got to get something from Lonnie Walker. All these type of guys.
Stanley
you got to get something.
You need
from
everybody
Bryant.
to max out.
I think best case scenario, they just a tough first round out. Like they take a high seed to 6 or 7 games. I think that's the best case scenario. That's assuming that everyone's as healthy and everybody's, your stars are playing at a high level. But
there's a lot of top seeds I think they'll beat if they get them an effort. Like it's all about matchups.
It is, but again, you gotta have them guys. You gotta have
Suns.
How you feel? The Suns would be a top seed.
How you feel about DeAndre Ayton is how I feel about the Suns entirely. So, excluding him,
I think if they got a Suns first round matchup, they could beat them. But when I look at, and I don't know what to think of Denver. Denver.
It depends on what Denver playing. If they got Porter and Murray, then I don't know.
Yeah,
that's gonna be tough.
But that's my top 4 seeds in the West, though. I think I'm going Denver, Golden
Clippers.
State, Dallas, in between Memphis and Clippers.
I don't have the Lakers beating any of them in a 7-game series.
Yeah, I think and I would have Memphis over the Clippers right now.
Yeah. Those my top. Like I said, those are my top 5. So from now 6 from 10.
But the only way I say the Lakers can really clip a Memphis team is you're gonna have to use their maturity. You know what I mean?
Your experience.
That's the only way you can really kind of clip Memphis.
That's why they traded for Danny Green. I heard Draymond saying you start losing your identity. It's young and gritty, but they need some vets.
They needed some.
Danny Green is that vet.
Well, Danny Green had to be on the bench at the end of the games because he will blow some shots.
He know that. I know that. I'm not glad we traded him, but I'm glad we got a young player back. That's all I said.
Yeah, but I think it's going to be a heck of a load. I think there's going to be dysfunction going on. And if they get off to a slow start, the trade talks is really going to ramp up. LeBron going to say something crazy because LeBron always says something crazy about his teammates. And I just think Jeannie going to fool around and tweet something because she's a loose cannon at this point.
I don't think nothing's happening. I think this is a team. Right. I think that was her purpose of making that tweet. It was like, yo, I'm tired of all of this complaining. You guys this is what you wanted. Deal with it.
I see her. Listen,
I think Coach Ham going. gave us our identity this year.
I hope
Something
I knew
something
he
that
would.
Frank Vogel couldn't give us. You know what I mean? I think he gonna have something to prove now.
We
I
all
don't
knew
think he's
J
gonna
Kidd
turn
was the
out like
coach.
Coach. Say it again, Chris.
I said we all knew J Kidd was the real coach of that Lakers.
Oh yeah, most definitely. I always said Frank Vogel was only strong as his assistant.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? When he had Lionel Hollins, he had
Mhm.
Jason Kidd on the bench. You know what I mean? That's when we got that bubble chip.
Yeah.
But as soon as you lost Lionel Hollins, you lose Jason Kidd. You see Frank Vogel couldn't get out of the first round, and then now he couldn't get into the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we're gonna find out real soon if it was a Vogel problem or a team problem. So I'm
Can I
rooting for
To be
Dev, let me ask
continued.
you this, Dev. Would you
What's
rather
up?
trade Russ for another star like a Kyrie, or get back, maybe 2 or 3 quality players for Russ? Not all star, but quality, like quality guys, like a TJ Warren, Eric Gordon. Like not those, just what they do. They're not all stars, but you get 15 plus. You get some shooting and maybe some defense.
See, I think I don't think we should add too many stars. I think we have too many stars as is. So I go with the TJ Warren. I go with the pieces
Yeah.
that we most definitely need to who's gonna come up with that grit and grind at the end. You know what I mean? Not who's looking to get that last shot. Now don't get me wrong. I think AD kind of should take the last shot now. I think this is that time that AD should be taking over games.
Mm-hmm.
Because LeBron is pretty much past that time of taking over a game and trying to close out the game. But if you have somebody like a TJ Warren that can get multiple stops and that can come down there and not scared to put up a shot, that I take that for a Russ any day.
Yeah, see, that's why I like that roster in a bubble. I mean that whole entire year, you know who your 2 stars are. Just like in
Mhm.
Philly, I know who my 2 stars are. We got quality pieces around it. Like I said, you're not a championship favorite, but with those 2 guys healthy, which is really that one guy healthy, if they're healthy,
We get AD to play 60 plus
listen,
games.
if those 2 are healthy, then they're a tough out, tough out. But I'm with you I'm kind of with Ray. Like it's not looking good. Sad to
Nah,
say.
I mean, as of right now, it ain't too sexy. You know what I mean? But sometimes the sexiest girl don't always it ain't always one the first to get married though.
So that leads me to my next question. And I don't want no blasphemy. I don't want no outrageous responses. I just want good basketball conversation.
Okay.
Okay.
So, based on the way it's trending for the Lakers, is it fair to begin to compare LeBron's Lakers run to Jordan's Wizards run?
Oh no, man. Can I go first? Can I go first?
By all means, my brother, go ahead.
Like, no. LeBron won a championship. Just off that alone, I don't even want to finish talking about it. Dev, you got it.
No, like, don't get me wrong, MJ. I know that was probably the Wizards' highlight when y'all got MJ down there, man.
He's putting up buckets.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he was averaging somewhere around 15 and above. You know what I mean?
He was still at 20. It was Mike.
All right, that's why I said I didn't really watch Mike when he was down in the Wizards. You know what I mean? I was like, oh, Mike with the Wizards.
That's cool.
Damn, maybe we can go see him now. You know what I mean? That was my only take about it, but no, man, we can't compare that.
Come on, man. What are we doing?
That's not fair. During that time, Jordan was trying to be a player, a coach, a GM,
a owner, everything.
He was trying to do everything for the Wizards. You know what I mean? LeBron just trying to be GM so far. You know what I mean? So, nah, we can't compare that.
Okay. Just figured I'd ask because it's been pretty nasty these last 2 years. They better thank God that bubble happened.
Did the Wizards even make the playoffs when Jordan was down there?
It was not.
They were winning that ring regardless.
Without that huge break and the bubble,
they were
that
winning
team was not winning that ring.
They were winning that ring regardless.
Ain't no way.
We had a good team.
Listen. Let me tell you why they were winning that ring. They had the most dominant stat I've ever seen in my lifetime from a team. 55 plus wins. They're 55-0 when they're up in the fourth quarter. I never seen a team that dominant in my entire life. I seen my Sixers have 20 plus point leads. I seen the Rockets have 20 plus point leads in the fourth quarter and lose. 55-0 when they had a lead going into the fourth quarter. That was a dominant team that had a quality roster. Not this year with this quantity BS, all these players. They had a quality roster. Where things would have went different in playoffs, they might have went different. They probably would have saw the Clippers in the Western Conference Finals. I'm still picking the Lakers. That year, that team would sweep this year's team, and that's a fact. Dad, back me up on that.
Oh yeah, we had great coaching. We had Jason Kidd, we had Lon, we had it all that year. So it was no way it was set up for us to win, man. COVID knew they was like, look, let's give the Lakers a break real quick. Let's shut it down. We already know they're gonna win it.
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna get right back into the bubble. They're gonna take it off.
I mean, I know a team wasn't stopping them, but we
didn't even make the bubble.
We can go to the we switch it up.
They didn't get the invite. They was like, hold on, brothers. Let me check my list real quick.
How did Philly do in the bubble?
Ben Simmons got hurt. What are we talking about?
He got hurt?
He got hurt. Yeah, he didn't play against the Celtics. He didn't play now one game against the Celtics.
He ain't play last year either, so
I know. That's cool. I don't even want to say I got hard. I miss Ben Simmons, bro. I'll be honest with you. I've been a Ben Simmons fan since he was in high school, so I'm gonna root for the name on the back, not the front. I'm still gonna root for him, Brooklyn. I ain't gonna lie to you.
Love to hear it, but it's time to transition. It's time to get to it. Y'all said some crazy stuff, and that's okay. But I think this list should.
You always say something crazy.
Yeah, every day.
I ain't saying nothing crazy all day.
You just tried to compare. Did you hear it, Kenny? He tried to compare Jordan's time with the Wizards to LeBron's time with the Lakers.
You lucky you lost your other connection on that one.
There's a reason. That's why I lost my connection. Let's move on.
Ask the question. The most important position in sports, by most accounts, is quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
And as we get ready to roll into training camp, some quarterbacks have moved, some in shocking ways, still waiting on Deshaun Watson's discipline to come out, hopefully sooner than later, so they can figure that out. More and more whispers, people think it's going to be lesser than more.
Me too. It's looking like
that's because Houston got involved. Yeah. Houston was like, hold on.
That might have saved them.
I would say we didn't talk about that, but Houston popped up with a 30 women. I don't know where the 30 came from, but they got
that was the one that they were scared to come out until they seen the other 20 getting paid. They was like, hold on. And it was us too.
Man, don't get me started.
Unless it was more players involved.
We know there were. They said there was more Texas.
Players. That's the case. Deshaun Watson getting 4 games.
No, there was. I don't think they had the allegations, but they was all going to some of the same spots and getting the same service.
Deflate gate,
right?
Deflate gate, man.
But let's get into it. Starting with the quarterback. So we are going to rank them. Hopefully y'all had some time to write down your list. If not, I can educate you through it.
Oh man, did he just say what I think he just said?
We going right based on what we're going to think they're going to do next season, right?
Yeah, just for next season. If you had to take a quarterback into next year, who do you think is best suited to get you where you want to go? We can start with Kenny.
All right. Okay, so I got Mahomes 1, Rodgers 2.
These are in order, or these are just
in order?
So we go wait before.
Hold on. Yeah, time out.
So we're going like what we think the stats and stuff is going to be next year. That's how the list is going. We're going who is the best quarterbacks you want on your team.
They're kind of the same to me, but I guess I'm leaning into who do you think is going to be the best?
No, because I'm biased. If you saying that, y'all already know who I'm choosing off my first pick.
That's different. So we going.
Y'all know how to rank quarterbacks, man. Who's better than who's?
There's a difference of who we think's going to have a better year and who's better. Those are two different things. You can be better and not have a better year. Just like we say who will have a better year, we say Mahomes.
Who's going to be better? Have the better year, I guess, if that's what you want to say. Have the better year.
Continue?
Yeah.
Yeah, we just had to clear some things up, Kenny. Because you know, I don't want to. Y'all know I can be biased because I'm starting off with LJ off top. But go ahead.
Crazy.
Okay, so I got Mahomes 1, Rodgers 2, Stafford 3, Brady 4, Allen 5, Burrow 6, Russ 7, Dak 8, Herbert 9, and Watson 10. Sorry, LJ.
Yeah, you hurt my feelings.
I mean, I don't think anybody's gonna have LJ in the top 10, but we'll see.
I am.
All right. Well, you can go ahead and go then, sir.
You know, just for saying that LJ is gonna be my number one. I'm going because I'm tired of people keep saying he's not a top 10 quarterback, but LJ Patrick.
Oh, you're a Ravens fan, of course you're going.
That's why I had to.
Fan, and I wasn't biased enough to put Dak.
That's why I had to make sure that. That's why me and Chris were trying to make sure.
Dak never been in them conversations, but Lamar has.
As a number one.
Yes. You win the MVP. You're considered one of the best at your. First of all, in the league, but at your position. Dak is MVP of the first half of the season.
I don't know.
He's MVP of the team.
I was gonna say I don't know if we've ever had LG in that conversation for top 5, but that's just me.
Hey, you know,
you win the MVP. You on that list.
No, okay. I'm not discrediting his MVP at all. I'm just saying I don't ever recall hearing him being in that top 5 conversation.
All right, but I'm gonna take LJ 1, Patrick Mahomes, Aaron Rodgers, Tom Brady, Russell Wilson, Josh Allen, Joe Burrow, Justin Herbert, and I'm gonna take Deshaun as my last one.
All right, so y'all.
No Brady.
No, he said Brady was like 5th or 6th.
Brady was like my fifth one.
Oh, okay.
So real quick before we get to Chris, I've heard Rodgers go before Brady, I think, for both of y'all lists. Can y'all please explain to me where, based on next year, whether it's talent around them, whether it's history, like in what world do y'all see Aaron Rodgers being better than Brady next year? And how?
Didn't Aaron Rodgers win MVP back-to-back years?
You know who his number 1 receiver was then?
And wasn't he undefeated without Devontae Adams?
I know what they look like without Devontae Adams. So if y'all
don't still have 2 top 2 running backs too, and one coming back at tight end.
Okay.
And you had a top 10 defense.
Okay. I just wanted to make that clear.
We know you're a Brady guy, so I know this hurts you.
I mean, I just appreciate greatness, but okay. Chris, you can jump into it.
Now, I want to make this perfectly clear because you got to put out disclaimers when you do these lists. You have to put out disclaimers. This is not a who I think is better. This is purely off who I think is going to have the best season next year. Number 1, I'm going Matthew Stafford. Number 2, I'm going Joe Burrow. Number 3, I'm going Josh Allen. Number 4, I'm going Brady. 5, I'm going Pat Mahomes. 6, I'm going Herbert. 7, I'm going Wilson. 8, I'm going Derek Carr. 9, I'm going Rodgers. And for this last one, I really want to put my guy Jalen Hurts on there, but I'm not going to do it. I'm going to put Lamar Jackson on there because Lamar Jackson about to shut up them haters. That's my top 10 quarterback list going into the year. Now, hopefully Hurts slide up in that thing. Slide up in that thing, Jalen. You got AJ Brown, but right now I'm going, Lamar Jackson is my number 10.
Okay.
What you don't like about it, Kenny?
I just got to see the Eagles' offensive line protect Hurts first. You know what I mean?
We healthy.
You talking about Jalen Hurts over Dak is it's crazy.
Yeah, but look though, none of them made my list, so it don't matter to me.
Okay.
But what you don't like about my top 10? You don't think these
No,
guys
you
gonna put
got
up some
Russ
numbers?
way too high for me.
Man, Russ got more than one. I mean, he always had receivers over there. Russ got a better team though. I think he's just gonna. He got a better old line.
I think they gave up. A couple of losing Fant to me is going to hurt.
He ain't really play with a tight end. His old, you know what I'm saying, it ain't gonna hurt him. I'm with you.
Jimmy for a minute.
They didn't win nothing.
Right.
They
But
did
I'm
nothing.
saying they did get busy when he had Jimmy.
I feel like Russell Wilson. You heard what he said. You know you know what I'm saying, it's go time. Let's ride. That's the thing. Let's ride.
So let's get through this, and then we can kind of talk through a little bit. The same way Joel Embiid should have won MVP last year, Tom Brady should have won MVP last year. Like, the statistics are there, the wins are there, the season was there. It showed up in the playoffs. Like, they robbed him. Like, just flat out robbed him. Now, with that being said, going into next year, fresh out of retirement, fresh.
Oh yeah, I mean,
You a Brady fan?
What a long retirement that was.
Hey, I think he's gonna be able to knock the rust off that normally would have accumulated. And if there's one man that continues to stiff arm Father Time,
That's LeBron.
Tom Brady. Yeah. We talk playoffs and championships on this side. Not
aren't you a Washington football team?
You could tell
we're commanders, and I understand greatness. So please refrain from speaking about people like LeBron in the same breath as people like Tom Brady.
Yo, I really think you study Skip Bayless. Like,
I could tell you a fan of his.
I really think you go on YouTube and you type up Skip Bayless best takes.
I told y'all I watch it almost every day. I love those guys.
I could tell. That Thomas Edric Patrick.
Yeah,
that was
Skip Bayless-esque right
all day long.
And I just appreciate and respect greatness. And he should have been MVP last year.
Are we gonna get a list? It sounds like a lot of qualifying going on.
It sounds like this. We're gonna have nothing but Tom Brady talk.
I thought you gave me
a lot of qualifying going right now. Just say Tom Brady number one. That's what you want to say.
Tom Brady's number one.
Uh-huh.
Josh Allen is number two.
Okay.
Matthew Stafford will be number three. Pat Mahomes will be number four. He's gonna shut up all you haters saying that Tyreek made him. Joe Burrow, number five. Deshaun Watson, assuming he plays, assuming he only misses 6 games.
I assumed he wasn't playing. That's why he's not on my list. Otherwise, y'all know how I feel about Watson. He'd have been second on my list. I keep hearing
we looking at 8. It sounds like 8 or less. 8 or less. I think
probably negotiated down to 6.
So if he do 6,
to Anthony's point,
AFC gonna be in trouble.
Appeal it down. They'll appeal it down to 6.
Yeah, if he do 6, that changes up a lot.
Then I'm going Herbert. Then I got Rodgers. I really wanted to put Wilson ahead of him, but I'm gonna go Rodgers, Wilson, and Derek Carr.
Thank you. Somebody else got Derek Carr on their list.
I was surprised you had.
Carr was gonna make my list, but I put Watson over top of him just because I'm assuming that Watson is playing.
I just assumed that Watson wasn't playing. That's why he wasn't on my list.
But I was gonna say, to be fair though, about Derek Carr, while he is a good quarterback, what has he really? Has he won a playoff game since he's been the starting quarterback?
No.
Okay, just saying.
I mean, how many playoff games is his team favored to win?
I'm saying, understood. I'm just saying
he's gotten there. He's played in a tough division, especially the last 4 or 5 years with Kansas City and what they've stood for. I don't feel like he's been in positions where he should have won and choked. I feel like he might have overachieved and got there.
I think the year before last, I think that they fell apart down the stretch.
No, I think that one year,
and then that whole
right. I think that one year,
that's my point. Like
when he had Marcus Mariota playing in the playoffs, I think he was hurt with a shoulder injury or one of them years. Then he had Marcus Mariota, or they had another old quarterback.
I was going to say they're very similar to the Cardinals in terms of like starting off fast and then fading down the stretch.
I think things changed. You add two studs. Like to me, they had a decent roster. Like they was trading away everything on their roster for no reason. You know, Mac, Cooper, all these guys, O-line. Yeah, I don't. The dumbest thing, they just signed old heads for no reason. Like we in 2022. You know,
got rid of Khalil Mack and everything.
But I look what they did. You know, and I look at their offense. Like we talking about quarterbacks. Like you have Jacobs, Drake, then you got Devontae Adams, Renfro, a deep threat of Demarcus Robinson, and you got Waller.
Mm-hmm. So there's no excuse. So they should definitely be a playoff team.
Oh, for sure, sure. No, without a doubt.
All right.
But that AFC West, that AFC West,
AFC West is disgusting.
It's going to be that the division's tough and then health, but on its face, there's no excuse.
You got to think that AFC got two divisions where possibly three teams is fighting for a playoff spot. The AFC North and the AFC West. It's going to be, especially if Deshaun come back. You know what I mean? It's going to be a fight come out of that.
If we're keeping it real, like with the North, I don't know. I think that division might be a little overrated.
No.
Two teams. It's only two teams.
Yeah, I don't know about. Yeah, I would only say two. I'm not ready to go three with that division yet.
Nah, I'm going.
I'm a kind of go. It all depends on this whole Deshaun Watson.
To me, it's 2.5. It's two, right? I'm saying two because now I don't know if I'm trusting the Ravens or the Browns. I trust the Bengals.
That's what I'm saying. I don't know offensively if I can.
I think one team is going to fall off out of those three.
That's why I don't trust Baltimore offensively. I don't trust Pittsburgh offensively.
Oh, Pittsburgh's not even in it. I
don't know about Cleveland offensively now because we don't know what's going to happen with Watson.
Right. I think that's going to be Cleveland's problem is Watson can have a good year missing 6 games. I don't know if that team can have a good year if you miss
run that ball. Do they still have
They still got Chubb and Hunt.
You run the ball. Run the ball and play defense.
That sounds great. But
sounds
we
great
just talked about what
that defense stack that run.
And I haven't looked at their roster, and we can probably pull that up. But
you got Cooper. Listen, I ain't gonna lie. The receivers is kind of mid. That's why you need Watson. You got Cooper. All I know really about is Cooper and Njoku.
Mm-hmm. They still got Austin Cooper too. I think.
I'm not seeing him on here.
Oh, he's not.
No, Austin Hooper left. He left. Yeah, I want to say he went to Atlanta, maybe.
I think he was in Atlanta.
Yeah, he came from Atlanta.
Yeah.
Like, oh man, that's why you need Watson. Any other quarterback? I mean, I look at their schedule. You got Carolina, you got the Jets, you got first 4 games. They first 4 games is W's, even if you don't got Watson.
Oh,
Carolina, Jets, Pittsburgh, Atlanta. Those are the best 4 games you'll want if you don't got your starting quarterback.
I was just about to say that's not a bad. Yeah.
Like your September through October, you got Carolina, Jets, Pittsburgh, Atlanta. You have the Chargers, Patriots, Baltimore, Cincy. You got a good first 4 and then a tough second 4.
You split that first 4, then you're in business.
Oh, you win those. You sweep the first 4 and you split the next 2.
Actually, the next 7 is tough though.
Yeah, but you're going to get Watson if you're getting Watson in 8 games.
If you get him back at say 8, that's Cincy. Yeah, he's coming back to Cincy on Monday night. You probably wouldn't bring him back to after the bye when you get but then you go Dolphins, Bills, Bucks.
In my opinion,
and then you finish pretty soft.
Those first 8 games, they're going 6-2. I think they're going 6-2.
You got them.
And who we talking about now?
Games?
The Panthers, their first 4 games, Panthers, Jets, Steelers, and Atlanta.
I'll give you 4-0, but they're not going to win 2.
I don't know.
You don't think
I think they might split those first 4. I'm not counting.
Yeah, I don't know, yo.
I don't have no faith in Atlanta. I like what the Jets did on paper, but they're the Jets.
Pittsburgh, because
Carolina.
Hey man, any given Sunday.
I mean, you're right, but
we're talking about the Browns here.
We doing any given Sunday.
We are.
We can do that about every team, every schedule. Like, let's just. I mean, okay, we talk about the Browns. I'd rather you say that than any given Sunday, Because then I hate the any given Sunday thing.
Yeah, we're talking about the
think that's
Browns.
A three. I mean, I could see 3-1 at minimum. If they 2-2,
They
they
should
in
be
trouble.
3-1.
If they 2-2,
They should be, but I
Yeah,
got a
wouldn't be
feeling.
surprised if they 2-2.
those first
I'm
8
gonna
games,
say
they win at least 5. At least 5. Those first 8, they're not going
that
to win
Chargers, Patriots, Ravens,
That's a tough
Bengals run is
stretch.
tough.
That's
You
a
don't
tough
see that.
stretch.
Oh, all right. It really
Now,
all
3
depends.
out of those 4 are at home.
Listen,
But that's still tough.
if Watson is suspended 6 games, they're winning 5. If he's suspended 8, all right, you might get a.
So they're gonna be
maybe
5. So you saying that if his suspension is 6 game, he's coming in at
Then
5-1?
you got Baltimore and Cincy.
And then
And you could lose both of those.
I think they probably, and it's at Baltimore, which
That's
could
what
be
I'm saying.
good. His first game back at Baltimore, but I just think Baltimore got to figure out their quarterback position. If they get that locked down, I think they'll be solidified.
You don't think Lamar Lamar not gonna play week 1? You gotta let me know for our draft.
Lamar gonna play week 1. I believe so. I believe this contract situation is ready coming to an end soon.
Yeah.
But you gotta think of all the people I think that need to build timing and rapport with new weapons, it's him. Like he's here. It's not like he's not in camp or anything of that nature. Like he's here. He's participating. And except for the OTAs, but ever since that's what I'm talking
then,
about.
He's been participating. That, though. This about to be training camp.
Yeah, I was gonna say he's. Hey man, look, put it like this. Next weekend, I'm gonna be down at the stadium because that's where we got our free practice, and I'm gonna go ahead and record this here and show y'all how LJ is. You know what I mean? And then we can determine this.
Listen,
I know about LJ.
The clock is ticking. I know you feel. I know you sound really confident.
He's the best quarterback out of all 4 of our teams.
But keep it real. Keep it real, Dev. Tell me you in the back of your mind you don't have no. You got a little bit of concern.
Man, what you mean in the back, man? It's in the front. the concern is in the front. It's not lingering in the back. I'm gonna keep it a buck with y'all. It is in the front. Yes, the contract situation is the most important thing for him, for LJ. You know what I mean? We need to lock him up because, like y'all said, like we just said, any given Sunday, this freak accident, freak injury can happen. You know what I mean? You seen how we got bit with that injury bug, something bad last year. It started with at the Dobbins went down, it's just at the player. So most definitely that's in the front of my mind that he need to get this contract locked down and yes, that's hopefully he can get this contract before week 1, even before preseason 1. You know what I mean? But yeah, I'm most definitely with you.
Question real quick. Do y'all think that his contract gonna be fully guaranteed?
I think he's leaning towards not to have it fully guaranteed.
I'm leaning it's not gonna happen. I got a feeling it's not gonna happen. But I think he's gonna get paid. Like he's gonna have that big money, that Patrick Mahomes type money area, but I don't think it's gonna be fully guaranteed.
Like my issue, I think the issue is he wants more than Deshaun, but the league thinks they overpaid for Deshaun. So they got to come to an agreement. Are they going to allow him to reset the market? I think he wants to reset it. I don't know if they want to, and I think that's going to be the problem. And sooner or later, we're gonna find ourselves in a Russell Westbrook KD situation where you don't want me, send me somewhere else.
I think the only reason people think Deshaun is overpaid because of this allegations. This wasn't going on. Deshaun Watson is worth everything he got plus more. I think.
Yeah.
He was on track to be the highest paid of that next tier of quarterbacks when his time was up.
He might be.
The only thing I just need to see Deshaun do is win a little bit more playoff games.
If he was playing all 17, he might have been number 1 or 2 on my list. That's how I feel about Deshaun Watson. I think. I think he's that guy.
Super talented.
Oh, he most definitely a franchise quarterback. No question about it. You know what I mean? I'm not saying that Deshaun is not a game changer.
But we got to see in the playoffs. I understand.
Yeah, I just need to see a little bit more in the playoffs. You know, from it, even though they didn't give him too much down in Houston, but I think.
But just so we're clear, there's a bunch of people in that. Lamar's in that category.
Oh, Lamar,
Justin Herbert. There's a bunch of young talent.
Josh Allen.
Sure.
So,
But he already got his.
Oh yeah, he got his.
I mean,
no, I'm
yeah,
just talking about need to see it like performing in the playoffs.
yeah. I
There's
mean,
a
Oh,
bunch
yeah,
of these
yeah,
young
yeah.
quarterbacks.
I
We
don't
ain't
think
ready
Allen,
for
I
him to
don't
do
think
it yet.
Allen's in that. I don't.
No,
I think
Allen's
kinda
not in that
proved
no
himself
more.
last year
He's
with
not in that no more. Allen's
Yeah.
not in that category
Nah,
for me. No
you
more.
don't get
He
to
just
do
gotta
it one
beat. He just
year
gotta beat Mahomes.
and you
He
just
gotta make
exempt.
sure that he don't have
I
a
mean-
down. He don't have a downcline this year, and he gotta beat Mahomes.
Because now show me what you do when the pressure's on. Show me when the target's on your back.
Yeah.
Now
You
that
know-
you're the favorite going into next year, you're supposed to win the division next year.
You don't
Y'all
think they were the
supposed to be
favorite
champion-
last year?
No.
I thought they were the favorite. I said they was the favorite. They was by far one of the best teams
Yeah, I think
last year. I
One
mean,
of
and
the
I
best-
see what you're
One
saying.
of the best teams and favorites not the same thing.
They were one of my favorites. But
Yeah, 'cause
listen,
I
I'm
think
with you
coming
on.
off of that AFC Championship.
You got to
game, I
actually
think that
do
you
it,
thought
and
that they were
then the
favorites
media is going to push you
in
as
the
the
division
favorite
at least.
because
Yes.
The Bills. I just think the Bills gotta have consistency defense. They gotta have a defense
Yeah.
that's willing to, show up each
That's why
week.
they-
Not
that's why they
not
overpaid
show up
Von Miller.
against
But I think they
against
gotta have-
New England when New England spanked you on that one Thursday night game. Don't try to say, "Well, we're gonna catch New England in this game." You gotta be
That's-
consistent.
That's why they
Mhm.
overpaid for Vaughn. That you gotta have them vets and that consistency in there.
Yeah,
That boy got that bad.
he got super paid.
Hey, when you're a 2-time Super Bowl champ, man, and
But you
this
do
is
that
his
with that
last. I think
bag
this
on
is
the way
his
out.
last bag anyway.
That's
Oh,
it.
of course.
Mm.
Yeah, but I think to Ray's point though, I think if you're Lamar Jackson, you can't settle for a penny less than 100% guaranteed.
Nope.
Like the market is the precedent has been set, and for a guy that and no disrespect, for a guy that's got this cloud around him and he gets his contract fully guaranteed, and I'm an MVP,
And I don't have
like
one.
I gotta get my contract fully guaranteed.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's the hard part. Just quick update: Juan Soto of the Washington Nationals is currently in the championship of the home
You
run
mean,
derby, but
on the
Something good
trading
for
block,
Washington.
Juan Soto, the
Didn't
soon to
he
be
decline
formerly
like
of the
400
Washington
million?
Nationals.
why y'all so negative? God dang!
I didn't even know who should I put the gunshots for. Because both of y'all.
Soon to be former Washington, soon to be New York Yankee.
Yeah, I don't know what we doing, dog. For 15 years, whatever they offered, like the 400 million sounds great, but 15 years, that's
Yo,
ridiculous.
how do baseball know that
Oh.
in 15 years that this player is gonna be worth this money?
But
Well,
here's-
he's even going to be
here's what
playing
makes-
baseball in 15 years.
Here's what makes it really dumb. We literally just went through this with Bryce Harper. We did the exact same thing. We tried to give him a bunch of years and a big
Yeah.
number.
Yeah.
And it's like, dog, that don't work. And then he went to Philly, and now we got to watch him for the next 10 years. Like, this is just not smart on their behalf. But in the moment, I'm trying to celebrate the Nats doing something because this dude Rodriguez has been going nuts. He had
So what happened to
33
Albert Pujols? He got kicked out.
Yeah, he got out of here.
Dang, man. All right, so no
He,
steroid test for
he
him.
did his best, but Soto got him out of here.
So he ain't gonna get that steroid test tomorrow, guys.
Nah, he should be. Bad Bunny brought out the trophy. It was cute. So, but I think we're good on the quarterbacks because I do want to get to this next topic. And this is going to tell me a lot about y'all. So, start, sit, cut.
This is so
We got-
disrespectful.
We got Jerry Rice, Randy Moss, and Mr. Popcorn himself, Terrell Owens. So Terrell Owens, I believe is how it's
Terrell, yeah.
most.
These are facts. I'm old.
So if you could start us off with who you are starting. And which
Yeah,
one
Ray,
you
swing back,
remember.
Ray. Swing back, Ray.
It ain't no shot. It's a fact.
Swing back, Ray. That's right, man. Don't let him talk about your Nets like that, man.
Just gonna
Swing back.
drop it right there for him. He can do what he want with it.
It's all
Yeah.
good. So this is actually pretty easy to me. I shouldn't say easy to me, but you start Jerry Rice, like he's the gold standard in terms of wide receiver. So you got to start him. He's the multiple Super Bowl champion, the only champion out of those three guys. And then this is where it gets tricky because both of these guys are super talented. Both of them can basically record game at any point in time. Both of them can score from anywhere on the field. I think it's just your preference. And to me, like, I think Randy Moss was the probably most talented package in terms of a wide receiver that we've ever seen when it comes to speed, leaping ability, hands. I just think he was the most supremely talented guy that we've ever seen, or at least that I've ever seen, I should say. So I'm gonna go Randy Moss, and and it's tough for me with T.O. being a Cowboy, but I gotta cut T.O. So I'm starting Jerry Rice, I'm benching Randy Moss, I'm cutting T.O.
Okay. He has spoken. Chris, T.O. played in Philly for you.
Yeah, he was better in Philly. He's better in Philly. Let's put it out there. Had a chance to win something, actually. Unlike what happened when he's in Dallas.
Come this way.
He did.
He tried to come this way. We wanted T.O., but he shoot us off. He was like, "No, wrong bird. We're gonna go with another bird."
That's right.
This is tough. This is tough. But I'm with Kenny. I'm starting Jerry Rice because everybody they hear the name Jerry Rice. At the end of the day, the numbers don't lie. He got more touchdowns. He made big plays. He got the yards. He was a big time receiver.
Number one.
He might not be the most flashiest like these two guys were, but he got the job done and at a high level. So I gotta pay my homage to Jerry Rice, and then it comes down to preference. And as consistent on the field as T.O., I was about to butcher his name, consistent as he was on that field,
seems like he's going the other way. Yeah.
He getting cut. He getting cut.
I knew it.
I'm bitching Randy. Look. I'm throwing that thing up. Listen, we don't say Moss team for no reason. Like, nice. Listen, I remember I was playing through my hair. I felt like Randy Moss. I respected T.O., but when I was playing receiver, I wanted to feel like Randy Moss. At the end of the day, T.O. is a legend. He should have been first ballot Hall of Famer. They disrespected him so bad. I'm not mad that he didn't want to go there because that was too disrespectful. You're not top 3 in every single major statistical category for receiver. You're not first ballot. Anybody else there first ballot, they rolling out the red carpet. And this is no disrespect. I feel like, in my opinion, you could have the list in the reverse order, and I'm not mad at you because to me, these are the top 3 to top 5 receivers ever, and I don't feel like anybody's going to argue with it. But yeah, I'm going, Rice, Moss, and T.O.
Okay, we got 2 in line. Dev?
I'm going with them, man. I'm going with that. I'm going with y'all category, man. I'm going with Rice because the 49ers was like, look, yo, we got a guy that can win with 2 different quarterbacks. He won with Montana and he won with Young. Mm-hmm. This man used to catch bricks, during the off-season workouts. And he set the standard for for these receivers that was after him. So I most definitely you just gotta pay homage to Jerry Rice. Jerry Rice was that man in the 80s, early 90s, you know what I mean? So going with Rice. I'm benching Moss. Moss was just like y'all said. Moss was Moss. Moss was just a guy that he was like a unicorn during that time. We thought we was never going to see another Moss, and honestly, I really think we not going to see another Moss. I don't think there's another Moss out there for real.
I was going to say somebody, but I'm just going to say he's his own person. He's not Moss. I was going to. Calvin's his own person. Oh,
Megatron.
Yeah, Megatron's his own person. I'm not going to try that. Different. But as far as like talking about the guy that just came in and was a wrecking ball, that was Megatron. And that's how I was kind of thinking of Moss. Like that name, like what he's going to do. He's going to put his hand up. He's going to run that 2 routes deep, and you can't stop it. And Ray, listen, Ray, we know you disagree. And it's fine because nobody's going to argue with you because that's how close. Like it's not. It's close.
It's super close.
It's too close.
It's super close. And then T.O. It was just his personality that a lot of people look at and be like,
This man
I don't
not
want to
gonna
go
have
with
Jerry
T.O.
Rice
Rowe.
number one.
I
I see
love
it in
the
his
personality.
face.
I
see
feel like
it in his
listen.
face. He
I
does
love
not have Jerry
players
Rice
like
number
T.O.
one.
We
All
already know. We already know
He
he ain't
don't
got.
have Jerry
He don't
Rice
have
number
no
one.
old time people in his number one.
Go ahead, bro.
Really,
Don't do that.
Listen,
I
He don't want to
respect
put Magic. He don't want to give Worthy his
Wait.
props. He
Watch
don't
it,
want to
wait,
give
do this.
nobody.
it's a lot of older players that I don't give them, their quote unquote credit because their numbers are just the same as these players now. But Rice, we in the passing league, and I don't know if anybody's
Still ain't
going to
nobody
get to
touched his numbers yet.
22,000 over 22,000 receiving yards, 197 touchdowns. I mean, Larry Fitz is second. He's nowhere close.
So
Scary.
Come
Terry
on,
goes
Mr.
here.
Different.
My bad.
I knew I'd expect this from Chris. He's a LeBron guy. So we haven't got to that yet.
What are we
So I understand how you value statistics.
Ray throwing these punches for y'all talking about his Washington team, so he's throwing his punches back.
I
Get him,
also
Ray.
value statistics. Statistics are great. Statistics are important. So two people played in San Fran. One person has the record for catches in the game. Do we know who that is?
Right to you.
Okay.
T.O.
Seeing where we at, where the audience is at.
Okay. Did T.O. win anything?
All right. Hold on.
Had the same quarterback as Jerry Rice. too.
So my question then becomes, Juan Soto started. Dang, he 0 to 18. He got a long way to go. So you're right. But you mentioned Magic in your soliloquy there, Dev. And I still feel like there's similarities in Jerry Rice's production and the quarterback play he had for the majority of his career. I would put that up against what Randy Moss had at quarterback his career. And I think we can say there are stark differences. And yet and still, Randy was Randy. So I'll go ahead and get this over with here. I'm starting Randy Moss.
Told you.
I'm not mad. You're not getting no argument from me.
Yeah, it's not like it's not like a right or wrong
It's
answer.
not like you started Russell Westbrook over Magic or something like.
Here's the part that I don't think you guys understand. And so I just want to share this with the people. Y'all criticize me for being a Washington fan, and that's fine. Team hasn't been that great. But do you know who used to bring me the greatest joy on Thanksgivings when the Cowboys were on?
Oh, me.
Randy Moss was an absolute treasure as my Cowboy family would come around for Thanksgiving and Randy would simply
Destroy him.
destroy them.
Huge mistake. Huge mistake.
For that alone, he will reign supreme in my life.
Hold on.
He built up all that
Is this
suspense.
personal? Is this a personal vendetta?
Yeah, this is
Really?
personal.
So, there is a personal piece. However, the numbers and stats and talent are what they are, and the quarterback play wasn't what it wasn't. So then it gets tricky for me. It gets tricky for me here because I have the statistics of Jerry Rice, which are irrefutable. They're LeBron-esque, they're Kareem-esque. A lot of it is longevity. Although
they're not Michael Jordan-esque.
Yeah.
No, it's not.
What?
Mike took years and years off. He only played 14 seasons, something like that in total. Jerry played significantly more than the other people on this list. And T.O. isn't playing for reasons that are in part his fault, in part not his fault. So that's why I have to weigh stats differently, because the two men I'm approaching him with had issues that I believe inhibited their stats. I believe we all believe they would have had more stats. And I agree with that. But if I'm taking receivers as receivers, I am going to bench Jerry Rice and cut T.O.
Okay.
But it's really close. It's really close.
I
saw what T.O. did with Jeff Garcia.
Man, you had me on the edge, boy. That was a good suspense movie, Bray. That was a good suspense movie.
I would have been mad if you cut Rice It's just how you
Oh,
was
my
explaining
goodness.
it was confusing me.
I watched what he did.
Like I was
with
with you.
McNabb.
If you'd have cut him, I'd have been like, yeah, come on, shout out to the new generation. But
I
your
didn't see
explanation was-
historic Jerry Rice without historic quarterbacks. I saw a good guy. I saw Jordan with the Wizards guy. But he wasn't the
He
same.
didn't get an average quarterback till he
Oh,
was
you
15.
did. You didn't
Like,
see
it
those
wasn't like he got
Raiders
an
years?
average
He
quarterback.
wasn't exactly playing, and they did go to the Super Bowl, even though they got stomped
And
out.
he's what, 15 years in plus?
Yeah,
Yeah.
and that was cool. And I think when Rich Gannon was the quarterback, he's
Yes,
he's
cool.
yes. I'm about to say that wasn't.
he
Like
That
wasn't
second half, he wasn't exactly playing with no.
Rice
But
wasn't
that's top 10
exactly
wide receiver
going
numbers.
with the same thing. So that's all. Good talk. I expected you all to take Jerry Rice. That's the proverbial layup, but I think when you really break it
Did he
down,
not dominate?
oh snap! Soto came back. He's only down 3 with a minute left.
Did he?
Juan Soto, ladies and gentlemen, might
Shit,
very
only bright
well-
spot in Washington sports, man. Give it up.
you bet not choke this away. I tell you that, because he was at 0 and he must have went on a heck of a run. But I do want to wrap up. We've had some big boxing fight news we haven't really touched on here recently. So I first want to start with Errol Spence. It was not at the Garcia fight. I forget what fight it was at. It was last weekend or two. He said he expects to fight Terrence Crawford this year, by the end of the year. Rumors have it that it'll be in November in Las Vegas. My question for you gentlemen is, 1, do we think it'll happen? And 2, if you do, who you got in the fight?
You asking tough questions today,
Man.
boys.
Yeah,
I ain't study. I didn't study
That's
last
a
night.
tough one.
Yeah, I didn't.
That's a tough one, man.
Yeah, you asking me.
I mean, that's what we're here to do. Oh, hold on. Soto has tied it. He has 20 seconds left. I think
Bro.
he just
I never
Might
seen
have.
Ray so happy about sports, man.
done. It looked like he rolled his ankle.
Great.
Soto wins, ladies and gentlemen.
Woo,
Let
boy,
that
listen,
man be great.
Washington sports,
Washington National. Juan
Let
Soto
that
has
man
won.
be great.
man. Washington
That's right.
Home
best
run
team,
Applaud that
best
man.
team in Washington right now.
Applaud that man.
because we win here. Okay.
I know
We
y'all
win
do.
here.
Y'all dominate every division,
Um,
every league.
So congratulations to Juan Soto and the Washington Nationals.
That part.
You guys really came through and got it done. Rodriguez, he was a baller. I look forward to seeing him around. It's good.
He
Like-
giving this post game like they just won.
Yeah.
They just won a playoff game.
Gotta take it.
I
Gotta
supported
take
the Summer League rings. I support.
I ready to get to the summer
He
league
sure
ring,
did.
baby.
He sure did.
Hey, those people that had those stories for the rest of their
Yes,
lives. They should
sir.
have that. But I'll go. I'll take it off y'all. I think it happens. I think
Yeah.
these two egos are too big to do the Mayweather Pacquiao.
And there's really nothing else left. I think that's the other part.
And I think there is that's 100%. Undisputed is the only thing up for debate.
Yeah, it's nothing
Nobody
else left
wants
for
to
them
see
do.
them fight anybody else. I think the money will be there. I hope they are picking Floyd's brain on the marketing of it, because this could be a generation changing fight for both of them. By all
Well, I
accounts,
mean, I'm sure because Spencer's a PBC guy anyway, so I'm sure they'll
Yeah.
between him and Heyman,
so that they'll get that ironed out. And man, so pre-crash, I'd have took Errol Spence every day of the week. Post-crash, he's looked good, but he's looked hittable. A whole lot more hittable than I think he used to be. I think fight night, he will be the bigger fighter. And I think he gets it done in a decision. I don't think either would knock the other out. I think somebody would get knocked down. I've also seen Terrence Crawford get hit a lot more than recent, and I don't know if that's a chess game he's been playing, but he hasn't looked great to me.
And they both getting up there, like they're hitting their 30s now. So
I would have Spence in a decision. I definitely think we would get more than one of these fights. I don't think we are going to be satisfied with just one.
Yeah.
And I think the money will be there for at least the next 3 to 5 years to see them fight 2 or 3 times. Especially if one of them's undisputed. You might throw in a mandatory here and there, but unless, like, I like Ennis a lot, I don't know if he's going to be able to get into that tier in the next 2 to 3 years, but he's definitely right there. I just think it's a different level. It's rare air up there. So that's what I got. I think we'll see it, and I cannot wait. And I'm going Spence in a decision. Dev, I'm gonna pass it to you. Who you got?
Yeah, I think we're going to see it. I think we're going to get like a New Year's present. I think they're going to really hold out until like late December, so we can have going into the new year to talk about, because I don't think we're going to get no bigger match or something close to that no time soon after we get this match. So I think the end of the year off, that will be a great match. I'm riding with Spence. I'm gonna ride with Spence right now. I think Spence is going to come down to a decision. I don't really see nobody get knocked out in this fight. I really don't really see a knockdown in this fight. I think we're going to see a lot of bluffing in the beginning. Just a lot of dancing. You might see a little bit of couple hits. I don't think we're going to get the action until late into the rounds. Maybe by like 8, 9, 9th round, somewhere in that nature. So, but I'm gonna go ahead and give it to Spence though. So far, just for right now.
Chris,
man, this fight better happen. Like I swore, I don't know. I don't know if it was because as y'all know, I just turned 21, so it was my first time going to a bar. So hopefully my memory served me correct. But I swore when I looked at the television, it said this fight was going to happen in October. Like,
hey, Chris, man, do this for me real quick, man.
Listen, listen.
Yeah, man.
Listen, this fight better happen. Like, I think everybody wants to see the best fighters fight the best fighters. And like, Ray said, like y'all all said, what is there left for them to fight? This is the fight that we want to see. I would preferably rather see it sooner than later. But if it's going to happen at the end of the year, as long as it's going to happen, I want to see it happen. Right? I wanted to go with Spence, but I'm leaning a little bit more towards Crawford. Now, this might change on fight night when I place that bet. Things might change, but if you're asking me today, I'm leaning a little bit more towards Crawford than I am Spence.
And Kenny.
Yeah, I definitely think that it happens. If it's not this year, then it's going to be at the top of next year for sure. We've already said it. It's nothing else left for them to do. It's the only big fight that they both have left. And I think the other thing that we didn't talk about also that's out of the way, the fact that Crawford is no longer with Top Rank. I think that was part of the issue of this fight not happening sooner. But in terms of my pick, I think I'm with Chris and I'm going with Crawford because I think it's a chess match, and I think Crawford has a couple of more tools in his bag in terms of them being able to switch, between southpaw and right hand. I think he's the one has the most ability to make adjustments mid-fight. And I just think that he's the more well-rounded fighter. They're both highly skilled, so it's really a pick 'em. I just think that Crawford just has a few more tricks up his sleeve that he can kind of, keep Spence off guard and kind of, switch back and forth between southpaw and right hand and kind of keep him off balance in terms of setting up his power shots. Because I think out of the two, I think we all agree that Spence has more power. He's the more powerful fighter. So I just think that it's going to be a chess match, and I can't wait to see it because I just to watch the chess match and them going back and forth and trying to figure each other out. I just think it's going to be a fun fight to watch. To Devin's point, I don't know how much action we're going to see early on. I think they're going to be filling each other out for probably the first 4 to 5 rounds. And then as we get towards that second half of the fight, then we're going to really see them bite down and really go at it. So I'm really excited for it. I think it happens. If not, like I said, if not at the end of this year, at the top of next year. And that's going to be the one that everyone wants to see. So I'm excited for it.
Okay.
But I got Crawford.
Okay. Well, then.
Dang, is I'm the only one that riding with Spence? Ray, we
No,
you
Ray
at?
picked
No, but
Spence.
Ray was Spence.
Oh,
Yeah, we
okay,
split.
okay.
Yeah, we split.
Bang, bang. I'm in there.
Top and bottom.
Big fish gets it done. But nah, I definitely with y'all. Look forward to hopefully them ironing this thing out. I'm sure it's going to be an event, and I think
Absolutely.
it's going to be a payday. The stars will be out, like
For sure.
it's what boxing needs. I
Yes.
think boxing has a couple of those fights, so I want to go to the next fight. And I put up, Damien, I put your post up a little sooner on accident. But Ryan Garcia did fight this weekend. Impressive win. The competition wasn't great, but it was what you would want out of a performance. So as far as Garcia, I think he had to step in and prove that he can actually fight. He's not just a YouTube guy. I was curious to his stance at the end of the fight that if Tank wants to fight him, he has to come up to 140. Now, we've obviously seen Tank come up to 140. I think he beat Barrios, and it wasn't Santa Cruz. I think he fought 141.
No, it's 135 for Santa Cruz.
Yeah. So I know Barrios was
I think it was just Barrios, so it was 140. Yeah.
So I know he's shown the ability to go up there and punch with power. Barrios was a big puncher at the time himself. So I don't think that'll be a deterrent per se. I think it shapes up better, Damien, to your point. I would rather see the Haney Stevenson fight first, and then the Tank Garcia fight, and then the winner fight each other. I think that'll unify. That'll give us the undisputed that we would need, I believe. All the belts would have been solidified at that point. And then you can worry about Loma or
Say that again. What was the order you said you wanted to see?
He said Shakur and Devin.
Shakur and Haney, because Haney has 3 after he beat Kambosos.
Yeah, but isn't
it's hard
Shakur
to
at
know.
130 though, isn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah, but
He'll move up to fight Devin.
Yeah, I don't think that'll be a problem. I know what you're saying.
I don't think he'll stay at 130 much longer anyway.
Yeah.
I don't think any of them will do much 130 from here on out. But no, I think those two fight at 135. I would rather see Garcia and Davis fight at 135. I'm fine with it at 140. And then the winner would probably have to just come back down and fight the winner of the other fight at 135. I think would.
But the thing about it is, just to say, if Garcia wins, he said he's not coming back down to 135. So that
that's
means
what he said.
You know what I mean?
I think for the right price, he'll come down.
Right. He's the B side in any of those fights.
Yeah.
Right.
So
I think the only one that he wouldn't
is Shakur.
maybe Shakur. He probably would get the A over Shakur.
And not if it's on ESPN because they love him, but maybe.
Well, that would be a top ranked card. So if it's on ESPN, so he probably would get the A there. To your point.
So, and I think that could become an issue. Is Garcia is on the zone, and their fighters for whatever reason we don't see him a lot versus the top talent. So he got to figure that out.
Canelo
Canelo
is the only one that fights in the zone, at least 2 or 3 times a year.
Triple G, Canelo, and then Golden Boy guys. That's their spot. So that's going to be a challenge too.
So the other question before we get out of here, I got 2 more. In the event that we get Garcia Davis, even at 140, if y'all watched the fight this weekend, do y'all believe he's any closer to winning a fight against Davis, or is he still should be a significant underdog? I'll start with you, Dev.
I'm not gonna give him a significant underdog, but Garcia still gotta show me something, man. It seems like he got it. You can see it, but I feel like I think Tank is still just above him. I still would give the edge to Tank. I think that the last fight, Tank showed us that he can actually box, he can actually move, and he can still hit with power. Not saying that Garcia doesn't have power, but I don't think he has that Tank power. Now, do Garcia got speed and good techniques? Yes, and he has that reach over Tank also. That could kind of maybe keep Tank off of him a little bit, but far as Garcia, he most definitely gonna have to keep his foot on the pedal if you're gonna have to fight Tank. He can't let Tank back him in the corner, or you can't even put Tank in the corner after we just seen what happened to Rolly. You know what I mean? So I'm still gonna get an ass to Tank just because he's a Baltimore dude, number one, and number two. I just seen a little bit more from Tank that I seen from Garcia this past week.
Okay, Kenny.
Yeah, I would still take. I still would have Tank over Garcia. I think he still, of course, you give him a puncher's chance. But I think the issue with Garcia is two things. One, he fights straight up, so he's really can be easily countered, and he's got chin issues. So I think those two things is where if you're fighting with a guy with the power and the speed of a Tank Davis, those are the two big concerns for me. Is that what happens if he gets inside of that jab, and then you got to fight on the inside? What's his counter? What's his plan B? Because I think that Davis will take it to him and be physical with him and try to rough him up, try to get inside him, and try to fight on the inside. I don't know what Ryan Garcia's plan B is. He really fights off his jab and his left hook. That's his bread and butter. So if he's got to fight on the inside, I'm not sure if Davis takes that length away, what will he be able to do to be effective? So I think between those things, I still got Tank as he's still the number one guy for me in terms of out of all of those guys. If I got to pick, because but specifically against Garcia, I would definitely pick Tank Davis.
Okay, and Chris, we'll finish it up with you. Your thoughts?
I'll tell you what, I'm betting a lot of money on Tank versus all these guys. I'm just gonna be honest with you.
Yeah.
And I'll say this: I took a step away from boxing, but one thing I give these fighters credit for is their help pulling me back in. And this new generation, my age group, the Tanks, the Haneys, the Shakurs, even Ennis, and you can say Ryan Garcia because his social media presence, they're help bringing in this new generation when it comes to fighters. And I think Ryan is more than a YouTube, fighter. I think he has some game in him, some boxing skills, but I do think Tank will win. And honestly, this is where the politics, this is sometimes why I got to stop watching boxing, because I just hear too much of this, it's politics, which sucks because there's no way any of these dudes haven't fought yet, from the Devin Haney to Garcia or Devin Haney and Tank, or Devin Haney and Shakur is popping up. But out of the main three, between Devin, Ryan, and Tank, one of these three out of three, 2 of them need to fight by the end of the year. Honestly.
Well, the problem is though with Haney, he's got that rematch that he's got to do with Kambosos first.
So
he can't do anything. He's done for the rest of the year.
I low key think, and y'all correct me if I'm wrong, but I've been hearing the Garcia and Tank fight would be, I don't know if I believe it, but they saying that that's going to draw more pay-per-views than a Tank and Devin Haney.
I see the Tank and Garcia drawing more attention just because of what you said about Garcia being that YouTube guy, and
the Latino factor too.
Yeah, they most definitely. And then Tank, he brings stars out regardless.
Yeah, Tank is the A. He's the A out of all these
office, for sure.
So yeah, I can see the Tank and Garcia pay-per-view being a little bit bigger than the Tank and Haney. Okay. Just because of those different type of things that they bring to the table together.
That's the biggest money fight without question.
Then they need to make it happen.
Out of all 4 of those guys, Tank and Garcia is the biggest money fight without question.
They need to make it happen, and by end of the year, or January. I need to see this fight before my birthday. My birthday is March. This fight don't happen before my birthday.
Nah, I don't think we ain't gonna see that fight until It's gonna
But
be a little minute.
what's left for really the only fight to me for Tank at 135 is Haney. Like I don't.
Yeah, that's it.
Exactly.
That's
Somebody
it. Like so, I don't see him not wanting to go to 140.
just
So,
knock out Ryan real quick, come back down, knock out Devin, then shut them both up. That was what I'm saying, but you know how the politics go. So I'm gonna just
no, it's a factor though because both of you got to think about it. That Garcia is on the zone. Now Haney is partially co-promoted by Top Rank, so there's definitely some politics that could keep these things from happening.
Which is trash, in my opinion.
Absolutely. Last question I want to ask, and then we can wrap it up, gentlemen, is Canelo and Triple G are coming up. We saw what Canelo looked like at 175. I don't think that's the division for him.
Yeah,
I think maybe period. But there's a guy at 168, and I just happened to watch his fight. I think maybe it was earlier today. It's David Benavidez and his fight with David Lemieux, which was just hard to watch, so to speak. He just ran right through him.
Man.
So my question is,
beat that man like he thought about his mother or something, man.
what fight are we looking at in that middleweight range? I think we all expect Canelo to win. I think Triple G's best days are behind him.
Mm-hmm.
But there's a Charlo at 160. There's Benavidez at 168. If you're Canelo, who are you looking at? Oh, yeah, I mean Charlo gonna go wherever he got to go to fight. Get the Canelo
I'm saying
fight.
one fight's at 154. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I think it was. I don't think one's at
154. Yeah, one is at 160 and one is at 154.
He is at 160.
I remember right.
Yeah, 160, not 168. That's right.
Yeah.
So do you want to see Charlo potentially have to go up, or do you want to just see Benavidez Canelo at 168? I'll start with you, Kenny.
I would love to see that Benavidez and Charlo, and Canelo, sorry, at 168 because I think it would be one of those Hagler and Hearns type of fights. Like I think it'd just be a shootout, and whoever lands the first big one is going to go. Like so, I think it has that type of potential. So I would love to see that, but I'm not gonna lie. Like I really like. I'm a big fan of the Charlo brothers, and I really feel like they haven't really gotten that opportunity to get that big fight. Another guy that I'm a big fan of, and his name just escaped me that quick. He's out of Rhode Island. I can't think of his name. He fights on DAZN too. It'll come to me. But anyway, at middleweight, that I would like to see Canelo go at too. But I would definitely want to see that Benavidez fight because I think it'll be a slugfest. And I would like to see I think the boxing or the intelligence or the skills match, I think is between Canelo and Charlo. Because I think Benavidez is more of he's a walk down guy. He's a power guy. I'm not really sure of how much of a boxer that he is. So I just think that would be a slugfest. But I think it'll be a chess match between him and Charlo. So I would love to see both of those fights. But for the action, I would want to see Benavidez.
I agree. I would lean the Benavidez Canelo fight, and then I would want to see Charlo go up. If he's going to go to 168, I would like to see him fight Plant at 168. I think that would be a good test for him at that division. I think Plant's solid, but we saw he wasn't on Canelo's level. So I would want to see
Demetrius
him
Andre. That's what I was trying to think of.
That's what I thought you was talking about.
Yeah.
I would want to see that fight first. I don't know.
Demetrius Andre.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So for me, those are the two fights I want to see first, and then those winners could potentially fight, and those losers could fight. But I don't necessarily want to see Charlo jump up to Benavidez or Canelo yet. I think he need another 168, even if it was a Triple G at this point in his career, just somebody to get him used to that level. Before he did that. Dev, your thoughts?
Yeah, you took the words right out of my mouth, Ray. Saying that I need to see Charlo fight somebody before he actually fight Canelo in that weight class. But like Kenny said, man, that Canelo and Benavidez fight would be the one to see in that division. Honestly, I really can't really think of nobody else in that division that's really kind of that's on their levels, in my opinion, for real, for real. You know, Canelo is it's hard to even rank him. Really, you don't know if you put Canelo in his own class, or do you know what I mean? Do you see Canelo as the best one in that class? You know what I mean? In my opinion, I think he is the best in that class, but that Benavidez fight will be one hell of a challenge. That can go either way, in my opinion. And if Canelo can most definitely come out of that fight, if that fight would to ever happen, I would, you know, who else besides if Charlo will make that jump can actually want to go against Canelo? You know what I mean? It's like, now, do y'all call y'all boy Jake Paul over from the YouTube and say, look, man,
That man lose
Don't
every
get
fight
that
he
man
been
put
in,
to
man.
sleep. Yeah, don't get that man put to sleep.
We ain't talked about it, but I'm interested to see this next fight.
Oh yeah,
This
I
next
am.
fight-
Me too.
This next fight gonna be a little different, I think.
Me too.
when he fight?
The brother.
August 6th, he fights Hasim Rahman.
Yeah.
Oh, Junior.
That's gonna be a
Mhm.
good
Oh,
one
okay.
right there.
So somebody with a real boxing background.
Mhm.
For
sure. And then Chris, I'll wrap with you, and then we can.
For once, I'm going to agree with about everything you said, Ray. And it's not going to happen often, but I think you hit the
Thank
nail on the
Mhm.
head. Last thing, I want y'all to look into this a little bit, or if you haven't, I want to have a topic probably. I'm out for like the next 2 weeks, so ignore what I was about to say.
Oh man,
I'm going on. I leave out Wednesday morning. I'm going to Indiana. Have my kids meet my granddad. So we're gonna be gone from Wednesday to Tuesday. So
Cool,
I won't be here next Thursday or next Monday or the following Monday. But I do want to get y'all
slide
thoughts.
because it was family, boy. I let you slide because it was family. I don't know if you seen my face when you said that.
Yeah,
Right.
I saw.
I'll be back just in time for all this NFL stuff. But also, I do want us to get into that live golf thing because it's getting good. I don't know if y'all been following the PGA
Some
Tour
WWE stuff, man.
So Ray, before you leave for a little while, why don't you tell the people your top 10 NBA players of all time list? You don't gotta explain it; just drop them names in order.
All right.
All right, hey Kenny, cover your ears, Kenny. Cover your ears, Kenny.
I'm gonna fool around and forget somebody, but I think I got MJ 1, obviously.
Okay.
Kobe 2.
Okay.
Dang, what do I have at 3? Kareem 3. I got Bron 4. I got Shaq 5. I got Duncan 6.
Okay.
Steph 7. Magic 8. Oscar 9. And Wilt 10.
Ew.
Good night, y'all.
Yeah, here we go.
It's been nice.
Here we go.
Boom.
Good night, y'all.
Peace.
The only one you can argue with is
No.
Magic, and I know that's because y'all love Magic.
No
Good night.
Bird, no Hakeem, no.
Good night.
Okay.
You was doing
Who
okay.
you-
You was doing
Who you taking
okay.
third over in that group?
You was doing okay until
Oscar can go
Magic.
ahead skedaddle.
That
Y'all
triple
know Ray
double
ain't
would be
putting.
good.
Y'all
And
know
he got
Ray
a
ain't putting no old people in his list. Y'all know
put
that.
two- He put two old. He put. I'm be honest. I'm
Nah,
be
I put
honest.
Kareem in there.
I'm kind of agreeing.
I was
with
shocked that
Gilbert
he put
Arenas.
Magic in there. The way he always
Listen,
talking bad
man,
about Magic.
I'm about to listen. I'm about to agree with the Gilbert Arenas. If you weren't playing, you know, if you were playing before they added the 3-point line, in, you're not on my list anymore. No offense, but that's how I'm about to carry it.
Why? How does that correlate?
You'll see when you see it.
So
basketball started when the 3-point line started.
No, it did not.
Right.
But those guys not on my list. Those
So
guys, they
you
didn't
just
make my
throwing
cut.
away Russell's
I'm not.
reign.
I'm not
Will.
throwing them away. I'm not throwing them away. I'm just saying when I look at my list, they got no correlation. It's just I don't got nobody that played before
But Will
Magic.
dropping 100,
I
don't
love
mean
Will.
nothing.
No, it means everything to me.
The 3-point line came in 1979. So you saying
So
that
Magic and Bird.
So
it might be
Oscar
my cutoff.
Robertson, that
Oscar might not be on my top 10 list. Oscar might not be on my top.
He said
10 list.
he will put
But
Bird
you said
on
not
ahead
an
of
all-time great.
Oh, I said all-time great. My bad. I meant on my top 10 list.
Okay.
Let me.
Okay.
America.
Okay.
Let me take that back.
Yeah. Okay.
Oscar,
boy.
Will, Bill, Tiny Archibald, all those guys. Listen, they on the list. But
Well,
I'm
your
talking about
DMs,
my
your
top
DMs
10.
was about to be
Yo,
hot for
yeah.
no apparent
I'm
reason.
glad y'all
Y'all
corrected
thought I
me.
was
I'm
tripping.
talking about my
Well,
top 10 list.
Ray DM's about to be putting Steph Curry over Magic.
Yeah, he tripping.
I mean,
Just
I've been
asking for
consistent.
DMs to be lit up.
I've been consistent. Y'all better hope he don't win another one. Y'all better hope he don't win another one
I'll be
in the
honest.
LeBron era.
Look,
Let him win a
yo,
fifth ring in
I'm
the
gonna be
LeBron
honest.
era.
Listen, if that happens, I think that's the number one topic.
Then you could start talking about.
You know the suck part about it. I kind of see Steph winning one more. I can see Steph winning one more.
Why does this cap? He might win more than that. You better hope they don't just retool when Draymond and Clay's contract is up. All right.
Okay.
Put some respect. LeBron will run up there.
It's cool. Look,
Watch.
Steph about to
I was with you, Ray. See, Ray, I was with you. Yo, back door,
See?
back door. Let me out, yo.
Telling you where you want to be.
Steph is gonna come on and play with the big fella.
No, Steph ain't leaving Golden State. He's king there.
No,
LeBron's the traveling king that goes from city to city
and saves them.
Man,
let's wrap it up. He goes to city and saves them. But they
And
all
leaves
need a
them-
saving.
He saves them, then leaves them in utter desolation on his way out.
No, because both teams bounce back.
Who?
Did they not? Did Miami not bounce back? Are the Cavs not a playoff team?
They got how many years later?
3.
That's a long time. Listen, it is what it is. He is who he is. He's great. This isn't a negative speaking LeBron time. Y'all, man,
not at all.
I appreciate y'all. Y'all have a great
franchise.
Call this man Skip Jr.
He is
the franchise.
He does. You can't argue with him.
The franchise.
Just wait till he leads the Lakers. Wait till he lead the Lakers, and there's no young talent. There's no draft picks. There's no future. Just wait.
So
he gonna do it.
Would you? I'll save this for later, man. Just know if he was on Washington, man, you'd be feeling so much better. Feeling so much better.
You're right. He's better than any player we got. And
I'm glad you know that. I'm glad you know that.
Not for long, though. Bradley coming. No, y'all have a great one. I'll get with y'all. The show will still go on. The show will still go on. I just won't be here for a little bit.
Absolutely.
Fellas, hold it down.
Enjoy your
y'all
trip.
be easy.
Whole sports, all plays. Whole